or like sports team fan day. It's like, my kids don't have jerseys. I'm not going to go out to a Foot Locker. Oh, that's loud.
I think Casey's here. I think
we got that. Thanks.
oh, that was me.
Oh, this is going to be like when I worked Hike It, Spike It. I'm going to have to do this thing.
Hey, everybody, the sound's working on that computer in the other room now. Sorry. That's an inside joke.
Might need to go back and switch her back to headphones.
But I lost complete train of thought there. We were talking about
kids' activities and stuff.
Yeah. But I also noticed that yeah, because you've had to like you were rolling yesterday.
Yeah, walk and roll was yesterday.
Making pizza today. Yeah, you guys are out and about everything.
I think that at the end of the year, teachers kind of run out of ideas.
Yeah.
I mean, I know this is part of it. You know, it's we're gearing down and kind of getting towards the end of the end of the road with with activities and stuff. But like one of my son's assemblies that we were invited to was a marriage ceremony between, I believe it was P and H.
Okay.
It's like a big like reading thing they're doing.
Okay.
But off of work to go to a wedding between two letters.
Yeah, that's kind of.
I mean, where are you registered? I'll get you something for the house.
What do you send? Salt and pepper shakers?
Yeah.
S&P?
P&H?
Send them S&P.
It might have been like marriage. It might have been like, oh no, you know what it was? It's Q and U. That's what it is.
Oh.
Yeah. Qu.
Oh.
So they're marrying Q and U.
That should be a quiet service.
Right? Very very sequestered.
That's right. Hold on. We got a busy hour, so I gotta get going, but I gotta say it. Caps advance. 4-1 win over Montreal last night.
Nice.
Took them to the woodshed.
That's nice. And I thought
on to round 2.
I thought that this was it. That they won tonight, they'd be done. Or last night they'd be done.
That's just the first round.
Oh, oh no, they cleaned this record.
They advanced and beat Montreal, sent them to go play golf. Next round 2. Now they play Carolina. They got a bit of a history with Hurricanes. So that's going to be a chippy series too.
I feel like you're really asking for it by naming your hockey team the Hurricanes.
And put them in Carolina nonetheless.
Carolina, like that's fine in Omaha.
Yeah.
But
like Florida said, we'll stick with Panthers. They did go with Lightning on one of the teams, so that's a little on the mark too.
Holding out for the New Orleans Typhoons.
That's right. But let me give you the rundown. Like I said, we got a busy show for you today. We're going to start things off here in just a minute. We're going to have Mari Manchenko back with us talking Tai Chi for health. They've got some more classes, Tai Chi for arthritis and fall prevention coming up, introduction to Tai Chi. She's got some more classes coming up, so she wants to get everyone out there and involved with that. Also this hour, we're going to have Geneva Martinez with Many Hands. I got to stop saying, because you say with so many times there, with Many Hands. Also with her will be Kirk with Bitter Lake Farms. They're talking about an Adobe brick making workshop. They, of course, they're always looking for ways to, for housing and finding resources for folks. And they're going to go a little old school and teach you how to make homes the old-fashioned way with actually Adobe brick making. So they got a workshop planned with Bitter Lake Farms and all that. So we'll talk that with them also this hour. In the 8 o'clock hour, about 8:15, artist Greg Birch will join us, give us an update on some things he's got going on in his world. And then in the 9 o'clock hour, we'll have the folks from the Roswell Symphony Orchestra join us. They've got, of course, the big concert happening here on May 3rd, this Saturday. William Kinderman does Beethoven, and that's going to be a great show that the Roswell Symphony Orchestra is doing Saturday night, so we'll talk with them about that. Plus, we'll have all of your newses and all that good stuff and whatever else we can come up with for today's show. Before we do any of that, let's take a look at your weather and then a quick break. And then on the other side, Mari will join us talking Tai Chi for health. Don't go away. That's on the other side of this break.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We're looking pretty good today. We do have some rain coming up, though, starting tomorrow. In the meantime, sunshine and mid to upper 80s. Overnight, a few clouds, and we're in the mid-50s. And then scattered afternoon thunderstorms popping up on Friday. Looks like low 70s on the high. We do have a chance of some showers and thunderstorms coming up on Saturday with low 70s. A few more showers and cooler Sunday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Step into a world of knights and fairies at the Lincoln Forest Renaissance Fair, May 16th, 17th, and 18th at Wingfield Park in Ruidoso. Presented by Oso Productions, the fair features thrilling armored combat, over 100 unique vendors, fun for kids, and live music all weekend. Don't miss the Young Dubliners on Saturday night. Sponsored by the Village of Ruidoso and Lincoln County Lodgers Tax, Fusion Medical Spa, Jack's Backstage, and Ruidoso Parks and Recreation. Visit LincolnForestRenFair.com for tickets.
In a medical emergency, every second counts. Artesia General Hospital's emergency department is open 24/7, staffed with highly trained professionals ready to provide life-saving care when you need it most. Don't wait. When minutes matter, trust Artesia General Hospital. Quality emergency care close to home. Learn more at artesiageneral.com.
Interested in being an electric lineman? Central Valley. 746-3571. See if you have what it takes to be an electric lineman on May 29th at CVE's Lineman Camp. We hope to see you there.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. You burn more calories sleeping than you do watching television. For the ultimate workout, fall asleep in front of the TV. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 16 minutes after 7 o'clock, and joining us back in studio from Tai Chi for Health Institute, Marty Manchego back with us. Good morning, Marty.
Good morning.
And, of course, you brought Phil back with us as well. Good morning, Phil.
He's like a bad penny. He keeps turning up.
Phil, and of course, if you missed, it's been a minute, but Phil is one of your, I guess you could say Padawan if you're a Star Wars fan, since we're all May the 4th and all that. One of your students, one of your.
Okay. I'm a Star Trek girl. I'm not a Star Wars
learning
girl.
the ways of the Jedi by Tai Chi. So.
Yeah.
But well, first off, good morning. How's everybody doing?
I'm good. I'm good.
Of course, now that the weather's getting nice, people probably. I think this is probably people when seasons change like this. People tend to kind of look at it as fresh starts and things. So, I think this might be, people thinking, oh, weather's nice. Maybe I need to get out, do physical things, do more. And no matter how, and this is where you always point out, is no matter, how old you are, how medically, sick you are or how many issues you have. We've got Tai Chi is a way to get you physical, to get you going, and lead you to bigger and better things.
Right.
Too.
Right.
So if you have aspirations of hanging out in the park and taking walks and doing all that stuff, and that stuff is not so easy for you right now, then I offer you a solution.
Right. And you just, of course, spring. Everybody's out in their garden if they like to do that gardening thing. And I have a friend who injured himself gardening. Because, gardening is kind of tough on your body sometimes.
Well, you're up and down, you're on the ground a lot.
But it's like, well, this is a nice alternative to when you're done with your gardening or before you start or whatever, to start putting that body back into a better alignment and learn better movement skills so you maybe don't do that.
Absolutely. And this is what the great part is, and this is why and we've talked over the years about how where Tai Chi years ago is a Western, kind of even mysterious a little bit. Where now you got doctors and the highest offices of medicine and research institutes saying this Tai Chi stuff is kind of a real game changer for a lot of people.
Right, it sure is.
Yeah. And so this is why we say, hey, we want to invite you to come practice this art, and it's this is something you say every time. It doesn't matter. You could be wheelchair bound. You could be it doesn't matter. There is benefits from it. We can start you off in things that will start you at this level, and then next thing you know, you keep doing that, and then you get a little bit more freedom, movements, things start and then it advance. And so it really, your proof's in the pudding, right? I mean, you were one of those folks that were really having some issues, and then with the Tai Chi, you know.
Well, I wasn't having a lot of issues, but I was beginning to.
Sure.
And I checked it out. You know, I'd go look at it,
Mm-hmm.
and it was but later on, when we got into the more advanced portion, I could see a great improvement after a while because of my balance was actually improving.
Wow.
And one of the kids says, "Yes," and I've noticed it. She sees me once a year.
Nice.
Well, twice.
Wow.
Well, and little do you know that next week Phil's going to be hosting a ballet ensemble. Where he's teaching.
Right.
No, I'm just kidding. But no, you really you've gone to where I'm going to take at some point. You're like steps, things like this. You're like these sometimes could be. Now you're hopping down them.
Right.
That's what this does. This is what and I'm going to take a stab that you probably weren't into Tai Chi and things like this prior to coming into this class. I'm going to take a stab that you probably even thought it was hogwash a little bit, didn't you?
Well, I listened to two of you. Once as I was leaving town.
Gotcha.
And I caught the tail end.
Okay, that's right. You were on the radio. You've heard us on the radio talking.
Yeah.
So.
And I said, well, after the first one, I got to check this out.
Yeah.
Right.
And
well, I'm so glad you found us that day, and you found Marty. So
it's an excuse to get out of the house.
Well, and that's the other problem is like now other people are like, hey, can you help me? And before he's like, I can't. Now he doesn't have that excuse anymore. He's like, yeah, I'm good. You just got to get busy, get a dance card filled up. But so for folks who are learning it, they can now start coming to classes here. This is a good time to get in on the next set of classes
I'm
and things
beginning
like that.
anew on Monday.
Monday
at 2:30 we have a beginners class, brand new peeps coming in, and it is going to be started as a seated class. And before, if you're very ambulatory and you do your exercises, and it's like, well, I don't need that. I start everybody, no matter who they are.
What's the saying? You got to learn to crawl before you learn to walk.
Well, yeah, that's because your posture. I mean, how many times? Look, when you're driving, look to the car beside you and look how far forward their head is.
Yeah.
So that really affects your blood flow to your brain. It affects your whole spine. So we start seated because we get stronger and we get more aware of our bad habits and start having new ones, and then we move to standing.
Sure.
So, or if somebody's, they have knee issues and they don't really want to do anything standing because it hurts their knee now, no, there's no push towards things. But we have a brand new class, 2:30 Monday.
Okay.
And I teach classes down here in Roswell at the Salvation Army.
Yeah, they're 612 West College there.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And by the way, just real quick, the second Saturday every month, they do a big breakfast. Like it's amazing.
They're wonderful. I love those folks.
So maybe do a little extra Tai Chi that week. But definitely good place to help them out there.
Right. Cook off all those carbs, and sausage and pancakes. Right,
but support them as well while you're out there too. But yeah, come on out Monday for the first class here. Now do they need to pre-register? Can they just show up on Monday?
It'd be nice. Well, I'd rather you not just show up because I need to know who's coming in or how many people are coming. So you need to reach out to me.
Gotcha.
Call me. Text if you want, or you can email me. And
you can, of course, if you by phone, you can always call Marty 575-626-7150. You can shoot an email, health first, and that's with the number 1 ST at yahoo.com. And of course, if you really want to kind of do your own kind of research and stuff.
Sure.
The Tai Chi for Health Institute is a international organization.
Right.
And check out their website, taichiforhealthinstitute.com. Pretty easy.
Is it .com or .org?
.org. I'm sorry. It's .org.
Is
.org. It is .org. My apologies.
I'm remembered. That's good.
That was my fault. But and then you can kind of see what we're kind of do. People like to read and watch videos. Right. You can do all of that right there. I know there's also the Tai Chi for Health Facebook, which you can like and follow and always get great information on things there. You can follow Marty directly on Facebook.
And you can go online and you can just find Tai Chi for Health Institute, and there's some free videos on there by the Institute. There's a lot of different types of Tai Chi. And this is Soon style Tai Chi, which was a little newer. It's not a couple thousand years old. It's newer, but it was created by Dr. Soon.
It's only like 700 years old.
No, really, this one is much newer than that, and 100 or so.
Oh, yeah, it's a fresh baby boy.
But he made it as a rehabilitative type Tai Chi. So, for instance, we're not leaning forward.
Gotcha.
And so we need to be upright. And our movements are not big and far out. So if you have shoulder issues, upper back issues, we're smaller, we're more contained, keeping the body smaller, building chi, and the steps are a little different stepwise. And so we're not real low to the ground like you can get.
Gotcha.
So really, for beginners, it's just a wonderful,
Absolutely.
wonderful thing.
It's not
Yeah.
Putting you in positions and things
No,
that you're
because a lot of us come with back
Yeah.
issues, so it's perfect for that stuff.
And this is something too and I highly recommend folks is maybe the fall prevention side's not necessarily your end game here.
Yeah.
Talk with Monty about the other
Yeah,
aspects of where Tai Chi
my
can help
goodness,
and
yeah,
benefits and other if you're trying to do more core strength conditioning
Right.
stuff or
Right.
or even if you're trying to get more one with your brain and
Right.
body and trying
Right.
to that
Right.
kind
Right.
of aligning everything.
Yeah.
That side of it
Right.
a little bit, and you'll
Well,
find that's helping with your probably social and more mental aspects of your
Right.
life. Yeah.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And the Arthritis Foundation and the Center for Disease Control in New Mexico Department of Health also, of course, promote the program. But the VA has now said this is a program that we would love to see veterans in.
There you go.
So that's very good. But on the other hand, people that are very able-bodied, I had about a month and a half ago, he might be listening, I don't know. I had a young man who is a Taiwanese karate expert.
Okay.
He's a student,
Okay.
and he's good. But he was having some issues with actually moving in his strength
Okay.
in a relaxed kind of way, basically.
Gotcha. So he uses Tai Chi to better his karate.
So we worked together, and I saw a few things that
Sure.
he could use to help
Absolutely.
help that.
I imagine there's
Yeah.
probably a lot of not a lot of differences, obviously, but I bet there's
Right.
a few things like people that study karate,
Oh yeah,
that
there
study
are.
Tai
There
Chi.
are,
I bet you there's
actually.
like a lot
Yeah.
where the minds meet a little bit.
There
a
are
little bit.
really,
Yeah.
truly, and I have a friend who's a bodybuilder that lives back east, and we talked a little bit about some of the posturing because she competes,
Oh, okay.
and so how to align the body in a little more open way to not overcontract the front of
Gotcha.
the body, because a lot of us are so busy doing things from the front, we overcontract the front muscles, and then the back muscles get extra tight because they're trying to balance that, and then our digital phones and
Sure.
yeah.
Well, we're always stuck in, especially people that sit in offices and things all day. You're always stuck in certain positions.
Yeah. So it's
You
great.
do that
yeah.
every day for years, and it takes its toll on you after
right.
a while.
And breathing. I mean, some of us, especially in some stress times, our breathing suffers, and our diaphragm gets sort of tight and rigid, and so anyway, the Tai Chi helps with anxiety
Sure.
and better breathing habits, even lung issues, anxiety issues.
It seems that when it comes to pretty much, when we talk about the body and doing health without the medicines and all that, this type of thing, it always seems that, when it comes to trying to center bodies, it's all about breathing. It's all like regulating the flow of oxygen in and out of your body. And that's like anything from, getting you to focus mentally to physically, to everything. And I'm going to take a stab that it also tells the body, the heart to start, if it's out of sync. You know what I mean? Like
It's
all
true.
those
It's
things
really
that
true.
are kind of,
Yep.
the breathing part is kind of telling the body, say, all right, pause, realign, re-step. Let's get back in alignment. And then, that's, am I wrong? Or is that, it
No,
feels like,
that's absolutely
and
correct.
I think that's almost the basis for any
health.
type
is
thing.
breath.
Yeah.
Breath, your breath, and how you work that.
And the more you kind of don't, because when you hear people say, just breathe, that's probably the best advice you get sometimes.
Yeah. Yep.
So anyway, please, folks, check it out. Come to sign up here. Come to the first session here on Monday to Salvation Army, the facility there on College. It'll start at 2:30 for the beginners, and then at 3:30 for the intermediates, and then at 4:30 that's the intro to What is that? The
Tai Chi 2.
Tai
That's
Chi 2.
more
Okay.
advanced.
There was a
yeah.
lot of letters there. I didn't know what all that meant.
And then on Wednesday, we have a basic Tai Chi class, which
Okay.
also the newbies are most
Okay.
welcome to come into that class and encouraged too. Because
There's a lot of the arthritis and fall prevention.
well, it's the same
stuff.
forms, but
I
we just
gotcha.
break them down in different ways.
Get a little
and
bit more.
a little more access.
yeah.
And, yeah. And I also want to mention I teach up in Ruidoso because I know some folks
Yeah,
listen to this station
Absolutely.
up there.
You're
And
at the Soggy Dog space.
Soggy Dog Space. It's a beautiful studio there.
Okay.
And on Fridays, I teach a beginning class from 2 to 3:30. It's actually seated to standing.
Okay.
And if people want to focus just on standing, they
Okay.
can come at 2:30
Okay.
to 3:30. So Friday afternoon, Tai Chi. Monday morning, I have a 10:30 beginning standing class up in
Okay.
Ruidoso.
So if you got maybe folks that live here and you got family up in Ruidoso, maybe mom
Well,
and dad
I'm
or
up there
something.
halftime. No, I'm up
Gotcha.
there halftime.
Well, I'm just saying if you got family
Oh,
that
you're
live up
talking
there.
about them. Oh, yeah.
Tell
I know
your
why
family
I'm
place,
there.
say, hey, I see this Monty person in Roswell. She
Yeah.
comes to Ruidoso
I
too.
do, yeah,
You ought to
yeah.
go check her out, mom,
Yeah,
dad, grandpa,
yeah,
whoever.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly,
absolutely.
exactly,
And,
yeah,
and they don't have
yeah.
to come all the way down here to do
Yeah,
it. So.
right.
But for folks here in Roswell, it'll start this Monday, again, at the Salvation Army 612 West College.
Right.
Please RSVP your position today by getting in touch with Mari directly.
I'll do it.
Oh, yeah, you got it. Yeah, Marty's.
Yeah,
let her do her thing.
and the class is 2:30. We begin at 2:30, but
Yes.
I'll need you to come earlier, especially the first time, so
To
we
get
can
acquainted.
yeah. Well, yeah. And so anyway, my phone number is 575-626-7150, and my email is healthfirst, and that is 1ST as in first at yahoo.com.
Very good.
Or you can research the Tai Chi for Health Institute.org and look at the whole website.
See the
you
whole
can
thing.
find me from there also.
Yeah, absolutely. But you can kind of see the bigger picture of Tai Chi for
right.
there,
And
too.
we are worldwide. We're in at least 32 countries, probably more. That's old data right now. But
kind of a big deal.
yeah.
Monty, did we get it all?
We did.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And
Time for coffee for me.
Good to see you again, Phil. And I think every time I see him, we're spry and sprier. So he's got the fountain of youth.
He's feisty.
I think he's going to come in next time and it'll look like he's 35.
He's our comedian. He's our comedian in class. We have a lot of fun. We're a little family. Come if you're lonely.
That's true too.
I mean, even that.
The social side. Meet friends, make friends. You might just make your new best friend in there. Or who knows? Might find your next spouse. You never know.
Oh, Lord.
Love at the Tai Chi place. Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
All
Thanks
right.
much, Mike.
Anytime. We'll see you next time.
Okay.
It is 7:32. Let's pause for news and Kim Commando, and then we'll talk with many hands. With many hands, yes. and talk a little bit about the Adobe brickmaking workshop. That's up next. Don't go away.
Now for your Pecos Valley News Update. I'm Jared Cirillo. Roadrunner Food Bank says about 500 families participated in this past weekend's pop-up food distribution event. The event gave out free produce, frozen turkeys, and water, among other items, in the parking lot of the Bulldog Bowl. David Montez, the distribution manager, said Roadrunner has handed out more than 615,000 pounds of food to more than 11,000 families in New Mexico so far this year. The U.S. is now prosecuting migrants who enter the country through a newly created military zone along the southern border in New Mexico. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth recorded a video in the zone this past week and called it a, quote, national defense area. He said any illegal who attempts to enter that zone is entering a military base.
This may as well be a military base inside the United States of America. Newly announced, newly formed.
Court filings submitted Monday show that the Department of Justice is charging at least 28 people with, quote, violations of security regulations for entering the zone. The charge is a misdemeanor, but could result in a year in prison. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo.
If someone came up to you and said, hey, you just dropped $20, what would you do? That's the start of a new con. I'm Kim Commando for Home Title Lock. Go to HometitleLock.com and use promo code KIM to receive a free 14-day trial of their $1 million triple lock protection when you sign up. Here's what happened to Sarah at a grocery store. A man approached her saying she dropped a $20 bill. She told him, no, I didn't. The guy insisted and tried to shove it right in her wallet. She kind of felt weird, so she left the store and went to her car. She checked her wallet, and the $20 bill was there. Her debit card, it was gone. Within minutes, scammers drained nearly $5,000 from Sarah's bank account and her daughter's linked account. You see, once they have your card, they move fast. So set up alerts through your bank's app. You'll get a text or a push notification the second money leaves your account. This gives you a chance to freeze your card before the scammers drain everything out of your bank account. Join over 650,000 folks who start their day with my free newsletter. Sign up at getkim.com. Title theft is a growing real estate scam targeting the $32 trillion in American homeowners' equity. Criminals forge your signature on one document, use a fake notary stamp, pay a small fee, and file with your county. Then, your home's title and its equity are in the hands of a criminal. So when is the last time you checked your home title? If you're like me, the answer is never. And that's exactly what scammers are counting on. Use my promo code KIM at HomeTitleLock.com, and you'll get a free title history report to find out if your title is still in your name. When you sign up, you'll also receive a free 14-day trial of their $1 million triple lock protection. That's immediate 24/7 monitoring of your property, urgent alerts if there are any changes, and if fraud should happen, their U.S.-based restoration team will spend up to $1 million to fix the fraud and restore your title at no additional cost. Your satisfaction is guaranteed, and you can cancel anytime. Go to HomeTitleLock.com and use promo code KIM for the protection you deserve.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. A group of 12 or more cows is called a flink. If you have only 11 cows, that's called a lot of cow pies. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 35 minutes after 7 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning from Bitter Lakes Farms, we have Kirk Klingsmith joining us this morning. Good morning, sir. How you doing today?
Good morning, Mike. Thanks.
Good deal.
Being here.
Anytime. Get that. Can you pull that mic up just a little bit there, just to make sure they hear you a little
You
bit?
bet.
So those are good. So I love this concept. I just kind of learned about this a couple days ago. So this is pretty neat here. Well, first off, before we kind of get into this, tell folks a little bit about Bitter Lakes Farms and what you guys are doing out there.
Sure. I moved here after in 1995. Start working at the Institute. But the reason I came is we had 80 acres out on Red Bridge Road that my grandparents had bought in 1917.
Okay.
And it had sat vacant. And
did you get it kind of get willed to you or something? Or
I got willed to me. I helped my dad's estate plan by taking this piece of ground that nobody had any real interest in for a long time. I grew up in Colorado, but my dad was born here.
Okay.
And my family came in the early 1900s. At any rate, I always loved pistachio nuts, and I came by those trees and over at Alamogordo and said, maybe we'll just plant trees here. And people said you couldn't do it, but my grandmother said, just add water. We can grow anything here.
It's like, watch me.
And didn't have a house, and so we and I didn't have a whole lot of money at the time. So I started making bricks, and 8.5 years later, we had a pretty nice house out there, and
nice.
Just been keeping it up since, and finally got a crop last year. We had almost a ton of nuts that came off the trees, and
wow.
we sell our pistachios here locally, and I mail them around the states.
Nice. And now what something told it couldn't been done 10, 15 years ago is now sustaining the family.
That's right.
That's awesome. That's pretty cool. Well, and this is where this kind of begats to what we're talking about next here. You'd mentioned there that I just went and built myself I started making adobe bricks and built myself adobe brick house here.
Yeah.
And so this kind of is spawned like this next phase of what you guys are, and this is where you're working with Geneva and the organization with many hands is kind of kicked in. And so we're starting kind of ground one saying, all right, let's start teaching people how to make some adobe bricks. And you know what? You teach a man to fish, that the philosophy, or you give them a fish, you teach a man that they're going to live forever. All right, let's teach you to fish. So let's start making. So this kind of spawned into this workshop you guys are putting together.
It has, and we have a good sized pit now. It's built 4 or 5 structures. We just keep digging deeper and longer. I've got 80 acres of adobe mud.
Okay.
You just mix it up, and we started in a small hole, and we do it in wheelbarrows and a little more. I've got a tractor now that I can load it up, and things go a little quicker. But mainly, there's a fellowship around the adobe pit.
Okay.
It just there's a lot of conversation. You're kind of out in nature, they're hearing the birds, and doing some hard work. But basically a session takes an hour and a half to
Okay.
do 27 or 28 bricks, and by that afternoon you can lift the form off and make new ones. And
Okay.
so there's a making process, there's a drying process, there's a storing process, and then obviously when you have enough 1,000 bricks, you can start putting up walls.
You start building things.
Use the same mud. We use the same mud as the mortar.
Well, that's
and
one thing I think we got plenty of around here is dirt and mud to make things.
We-
you know?
we do, a little
hence
bit of
the
hay.
reason. Hence the reason a lot of the people long before us. This is how they're building these houses back
That's
then.
right.
Yeah, and so I love this. So the idea is to kind of teach folks to make these things, and then so like you said, we get some of our folks, our veterans, our homeless, some of these folks that are looking for places to live, looking for a niche in life. Let's start you off by learning how to make some bricks, and we'll let you build a house here, and let's start from there. And that's kind of where this is evolving to, right?
It is. We've had we were part of a thing called WOOFing, Worldwide Organization of Organic Farmers.
Okay.
And so we've had kids from all over the world, really. We've had them from 4 or 5 countries and a lot of United States kids. And they come out and work for a couple weeks, and most of them they really like it. That it's fun. It's the community thing. But I'm a veteran myself, and I've been blessed in a lot of ways in everything.
Mm-hmm.
And if I can help somebody get some time around the adobe pit, make some bricks, and I have authorization to build a bunch of little casitas. We call it little houses, casitas,
Nice. Yeah.
of course. And just a little place to live, and then the community that made spring up about that. It's an organic thing. If
Absolutely.
it's supposed to work, it really will.
Well, and this is kind of what you and I were talking a little bit about before, and obviously, thank you for your service as a veteran. I too am a veteran, and I know some of the how the mindset is there. And yes, veterans have that very much. Well, why can't we just do this? And that's kind of what's going on here. But what I love also about this too is this is different than like you'll see situations say, okay, we've built this camp to house folks and things, and they'll storm in these trailers or whatever, and it's better than nothing. And it's a great, but at the same time, I think people that have, not in my backyard, don't want, there's that mindset of people. What tends to happen is you get folks in there, and because there's no real vested interest, they're just putting them in there. Then you start seeing the thievery, the vandalism, all the things that people say, see, that's what's going on here. Where I think this does the same thing, but it does it in the right way. And what I mean by that is the folks that are coming in, these folks are invested into it. And you're saying, you know what? I'm not giving you a house, but I'm going to give you the tools to get a house. And if you are willing to come in and learn, I guarantee on the other side of this, you're going to be all right. And that's where this, and so it's not only saying, hey, we're helping you, it's giving you the tools and the thing to say, I'm helping you now so you can help yourself later. And that's what that's why I love about this program. It's getting folks in and saying, you know what? If you're willing to learn a trade here, I'm willing to set you up for life here. And this is setting literally the foundation to do here. One adobe brick at a time.
One brick at a time. You got it.
And so I think this is a great thing, and I hope we get more and more folks that help you and embrace you on this, and maybe copy you and start doing similar type things around here.
Yeah.
I think that's a cool thing.
I was privileged to work at the Institute, and with cadet leadership, the cadets leading the Corps,
Mm-hmm.
where it's participation.
Yeah.
If you don't make your own bed, then how do you know how to tell somebody later on to do it?
Exactly.
And these guys and women, we if working together, if you're participating and you're part of the project,
Mm-hmm.
and like you say, the ownership and the
Pride in it.
understanding and the community that grows up around it, it's just, one, it's a lot of fun, and two, it's healthy.
Absolutely.
You get it's a sober, clean environment,
Mm-hmm.
where you come out and make make a stand.
Absolutely. And I'm going to take another stab, is you're probably going to make, as other people are there too, that are, that builds a bond and a friendship, that you're probably going to make some some connections with people that are going to serve you well the rest of your life doing. I'm just ancillary talking about. This is the kind of stuff that comes from this kind of thing.
That is what comes from it. And I think it's, it's the big creator's plan is to take care of each other and to have, some joy.
Absolutely.
In life.
So, putting on people's calendars, tomorrow is your big, I guess, ribbon cutting grand opening shindig for the Bitter Lake Farm.
It is, and we're doing a fundraiser for the benefit of the Roswell Art Museum.
Okay.
And I've got, my brother was an artist, and I've collected art for years. We've turned what was my workshop is now a art studio.
Okay.
And we're going to have that.
Pardon the mud.
Out of mud, that's right. And then we're going to have a workshop. There's some folks coming over from Alamogordo, and we're going to have one of our first Adobe making workshops. And we're going to schedule them
this is first of many, hopefully.
This is first of many, and hopefully get people interested in coming out and doing it and seeing how the process works.
You know what? I would even love to see, okay, maybe you don't need it. You're good. You got a house and all that. Awesome. Come, I don't know. I'm just saying you could probably find a lot of uses out of Adobe brick making and things like that. You're like, I'm going to make my own patio. I'm going to, you know what? I'm going to wall off my own garden or whatever that is. Or I'm going to build me my man cave in the back.
The
or
walls,
my she shed or whatever it is. Yeah.
Walls and sheds are a definite improvement on any property.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. Something about an Adobe wall just is, I don't know. I think it's pretty. But anyway,
they got the curves. You can put curves in it.
And I'm telling you, it's nothing seems more New Mexican than that look to me, or Southwest at least.
Yeah.
But so come to the grand opening tomorrow here. Come to this first of many brick making workshops here, and come see what it's all about. Come meet the people. Come say, I heard you guys on the radio, and I love this concept. What can I do to get more involved with this? Or hey, I love what you're doing. Maybe what if I brought this into the mix as well, and add a few other ingredients to this thing, and let's just see what else we can do and help people. And this is it. And the great thing about this is for folks that are homeless, the big problem is they can't tap into resources because they don't have an address. It's this weird catch-22 where they're in.
Absolutely.
And so if nothing else, it gives them an address. And so they can apply for veterans benefits or whatever assistances they need, or get a job, whatever it is that needed. Now they have an address.
Driver's license.
Now they have some place where they're established. They can get ID. They can get the things they need to navigate life that we all need. And it really starts one Adobe brick at a time, literally. And so come check it out.
Yeah, Friday the 2nd from 4 to 7, and Saturday from 2 to 7.
Yes. Give out the actual address for people, like put them in the GPSs and all that.
You bet. It's 353 North Red Bridge Road in Roswell.
Yeah.
4 miles east of Main Street. You take 19th or 2nd out, and you'll see Red Bridge Road.
Nice. Hey, can I get nuts while I'm there?
Absolutely.
All right, good. I just want to make sure. I was
pistachios are there.
Some people might be walking. I don't care about the bricks.
I pay in pistachios.
Nice. Somebody might walk in like, the brick thing's cool. I just here for some nuts.
We're all nuts on the farm.
Well, you got a few extra today.
That's right.
And is there a website or anything, folks, or Facebook or something they can check out too?
Both Facebook and Bitter Lakes Farm Co. is the website, and on Facebook the Bitter Lakes Farm.
Yeah, so if you're looking for nuts, you'll find them there. But if you want to kind of learn a little bit more about this Adobe brick making and get more involved, or like I said, want to get more on a bigger scale with hooking up resources to help, or locate people to get more involved with this, please reach out. And I just love, and this is the kind of stuff that this is how we better our community. I say this every time, and I probably say it to a point where people are getting tired of hearing it. If you're waiting on city or government to fix your neighborhoods and fix your world, you're going to be waiting until the end of your life, and you're going to keep waiting after you're dead. You got to do it yourself. We, the people, got to roll up our sleeves and do things. You want a nice zoo, you want a nice community, we, the people, have to roll up our sleeves and make that happen.
Absolutely.
So, and this is what we're doing. So,
all right, Mike.
Kirk, appreciate you.
I appreciate your time.
And anytime, let me know as we get up. And I would love to see progress, too, as we get, as maybe our first house is built. Bring those guys in, and let's talk, and let's show them off a little bit, or whatever, stuff
Sounds
like that. Good deal. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
Very much.
All right, it is 7:49. Let's pause for your Chaves County sports update and SRN Sports and a quick commercial break. Don't go away.
Baseball action today, and the Goddard Rockets are hosting the Artesia Bulldogs in the single game. Starts at 5 o'clock. The two teams will play a doubleheader in Artesia on Friday. So whatever happens today, the district title is going to be wrapped up the next day. Today's game again starts at 5. Artesia 17-6. 6-0 in district. Goddard is 11-11, but 5-1 in district play. Also today, you've got Dexter playing at Bosque School in Albuquerque. That starts at 2 o'clock. Gateway Christian has already clinched the district championship in baseball, but they will host Elida in a doubleheader that starts this afternoon at 2. Gateway is 12-4 overall, 10-0 in district play. And softball today, Dexter playing at Ruidoso. The Demons are 21-2, 7-0 in district. Ruidoso, though, 19-4, 6-1 in district. That's a doubleheader today at 4. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell's Talk FM 106.5.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander. U.S. stocks bounced back from steep early losses. The S&P 500 rose 1/10 to extend its winning streak to a seventh day. The Dow Jones Industrial Average added 141 points, or 0.3%, while the Nasdaq Composite edged down 0.1%. The U.S. economy shrank at a 0.3% annual pace from January through March, the first drop in 3 years as President Donald Trump's trade wars disrupted business. First quarter growth was slowed by a surge in imports as companies in the United States tried to bring in foreign goods before Trump imposed massive tariffs. Amazon will spend more than $4 billion to expand its U.S. rural delivery network by the end of 2026, creating faster shipments to drive up demand from shoppers in small towns. Coca-Cola's quarterly revenue and profit beat estimates thanks to price hikes and strong demand for its sodas. But the beverage giant warned U.S. tariffs could impact costs. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander in Washington.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We're looking pretty good today. We do have some rain coming up, though, starting tomorrow. In the meantime, sunshine and mid to upper 80s. Overnight, a few clouds, and we're in the mid-50s. And then scattered afternoon thunderstorms popping up on Friday. Looks like low 70s on the high. We do have a chance of some showers and thunderstorms coming up on Saturday with low 70s. A few more showers and cooler Sunday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Jesus loves the little children, all the children of the world. That's a lyric from a well-known kids song. Along with Jesus Loves Me, This I Know, they are probably the first two songs many of us learned, especially if we started our life in church. Unfortunately, I'm afraid that fewer and fewer of our children today learn those songs or truly understand that Jesus loves them and that He continues to love them for their entire lives, no matter where they find themselves or no matter what they do. Wouldn't our world be a better place if every child were taught the love of God for them? When Jesus was asked what the most important commandment was, He stated that the first was love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. And the second is like it, love your neighbor as yourself. If we teach the children in our lives those two valuable lessons, along with how God loves them, they will have a great foundation for a good life.
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday, located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell.
Your home is your sanctuary, and the land it's built on is even more precious. So when termites start devouring your house, you want a proven treatment that's environmentally responsible. You want the Centricon Termite Colony Elimination System. The Centricon system is the green way to protect homes from subterranean termites. Rather than surrounding your house with hundreds of gallons of diluted chemical solution, the Centricon system strategically uses just a few grams of active ingredient in termite bait, working with natural termite behavior to destroy termite colonies. With this technology, it's no wonder the Centricon system became the only termite treatment to receive the Presidential Green Chemistry Challenge Award from the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. And homeowners rate the Centricon system as the most environmentally sound termite treatment. Your home is your sanctuary, so monitor, bait, and eliminate termites with the Centricon system. Think of it as your own little piece on Earth.
Call Bob Reed Pest Control today for all of Southeast New Mexico. 575-623-5344.
It's the first day of the first grade, and she found a new best friend. It's a laid-back Sunday afternoon you wish would never end.
The homemade taste of Bluebell and good friends.
are being made right now.
Chocolate lovers are going absolutely bananas over our new Bluebell Banana Fudge. Rich milk chocolate ice cream swirled with a scrumptious banana-flavored ice cream. Your favorite banana fudge bar, now in a carton.
The good old days are being made right now. The good old days are being made right now.
Look for Bluebell Ice Cream at Smokey's Country Market in Capitan and all Farmers Country Markets.
Hey, Roswell, during these unprecedented times when others are raising prices, Roswell Ford is lowering ours with employee pricing for everyone. So you pay what we pay. Only at Roswell Ford. Make no payments for 90 days. Upside down in your current vehicle and want out early? Roswell Ford can help you get out of your trade, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth, regardless of make, miles, or condition. So you can pay what we pay today with employee pricing to all customers on new Ford cars, trucks, and SUVs. And our aggressive finance team will push to approve your credit, even if it's less than perfect. Attention business owners, Roswell Ford has a great selection of commercial vehicles, and we have them for less. Plus, Roswell Ford offers mobile services, so our certified technicians will come to you and perform oil changes, tire rotations, batteries, recalls, and more. Contact us for details. For massive American-made savings and employee pricing for everyone. Get on board at Roswell Ford, 821 North Main Street in beautiful Roswell. Call 575-623-3673 or online at roswellford.com. Interest accrues from date of sale on select vehicles. Trade balance refinanced to new loan subject to lender approval. Offers not combined. Expires in month's end.
You can't hunt camels in Arizona, but you can buy them. They go for about $10 a pack. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning, 7:56. Got a few minutes here before top of the hour news. Stay tuned next hour. Artist Greg Birch will join us, and he's going to give us an update on some of the things he's got working on with his art and magazines, some other stuff. He's a busy man with a lot of stuff. So we'll chit-chat about some of that with him next hour. Hey, just talk with Jocelyn all the way in the next room over, wearing a Food Not Bombs hat this morning. Hey, Food Not Bombs, of course, we've talked about this organization pretty often here on the morning show. They do great things where most of the time they're gathering food from anybody, extra food from events, restaurants, whatever, and then just going out to places like Pioneer Plaza and serving food till it's gone. Just anybody that eats, come you hungry. They've been doing it for a couple of years now, and it's great. Love what they're doing. But they are gearing up for summer now. And like I know, summer can get quite hot here in this part of the country. And so now they're starting to collect donations to help folks deal with summer. Things like, obviously, water, but cooling towels, those rags that you can the do-rags and things, the cooling rags you can wear or things like that, stuff like that. Lotions like sunscreens and aloe and things like that. All the stuff you use during the summer to protect you. They need that kind of stuff. The lotions, the sunscreens, obviously waters. But if you've got that stuff, when they're doing their servings during the afternoons in Pioneer Plaza, bring it by there. They'd love if you could make those donations. Of course, if you're hungry, come eat. But if you want to drop off anything that would help, like for cooler month stuff, obviously, fans are wonderful, but you got to plug them in and all that. So I don't know if those are so helpful. But and bring some water, bring some stuff, and then while you're out there, talk to the folks out there and say, hey, what else you need, and they'll be happy to tell you all that. But they are now, as you can already tell, we're getting into warmer months here. Before you know it, it's going to be triple-digit heat, and we're going to have the warming centers in the winter are going to be turned into cooling centers here for the summer to allow folks to come in out of the heat and all that. But as this is going to happen, because we know that's just what's going to happen, we need to prepare for it. So if you can make those donations, and if you have questions about it, I invite you to like and follow Food Not Bombs Roswell. I believe it's called Food Not Bombs Roswell on Facebook. And there you can like and follow and obviously see what's going on. But then if you have questions, hey, what else you need, you can shoot a message, and Jocelyn or any of the volunteers there can get back to you pretty quick on that stuff. So Is there anything I missed on that, Jocelyn? Did I pretty much get it?
I think you pretty much got it. Sunglasses, lip balm.
Sunglasses, lip balm, those are 2 chapsticks, things like that.
Anything that's going to keep people cool, we'll take it.
Gotcha.
Out there on Fridays at 4 and Sundays at 1, we're out there.
Yeah.
Or you can just get a hold of me, Food Not Bombs, Roswell.
And like I said, if you're hungry, come eat.
And we'll feed anybody. We don't care. Come hang out.
Absolutely. And also, too, if you're one of those folks that say, hey, I got lots of food all the time, get in touch with Jocelyn. She'd love to take some of that off your hands.
Yes, if you have events, graduations, funerals, any kind of events, we will take your leftover food.
Any place where you have a lot of people and a lot of food that didn't get eaten,
yes,
she'll take it off.
We will
your
take
hands,
it.
You know.
It will feed a lot of people.
Birthday parties, don't matter. If there's trays of food, it all will get used.
Thank you, Mike.
Thank you. All right, you're listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico.
All.com. I'm Rich Emerson. They have sealed the deal. The U.S. and Ukraine entering into an economic partnership, paving the way for reconstruction of a post-war Ukraine. It also grants the U.S. access to Ukraine's rare earth minerals. This will help Ukraine to repay its war debts and fund reconstruction. Responding to a lackluster first-quarter GDP report, President Trump says the economy still feeling the negative effects of Bidenomics. Prayer front and center on the president's agenda today.
As he did during his first term in office, the president will commemorate the National Day of Prayer, which falls on the first Thursday in May. This morning, he will lead an observance in the White House Rose Garden. Since taking office in January, the president has invited a host of Christian and faith leaders to the White House for several events, including worship services.
White House correspondent Greg Clugston. When he's not busy launching rockets, he's building electric cars or presiding over a social media empire. Elon Musk looking to take his Texas operations to the next level.
Now, a new Musk project is taking shape. A vote is scheduled Saturday to turn the South Texas home of his SpaceX rocket company into an official city known as Starbase. Approval is likely. Most of the eligible voters are SpaceX workers. But that vote and other proposals to give the city new authority to close beaches for rocket launches has drawn critics who say the change would give Musk and his company town too much power. Keith Peters, Washington.
The Trump administration, through the Department of Health and Human Services, calling for greater reliance on behavioral therapy for transgender youth instead of so-called gender-affirming medical care. Watching Wall Street this hour, stocks have been in positive territory. The Dow is up 211 points, while the NASDAQ trading 312 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
Israel is burning. Firefighters battling what they describe as the worst wildfire in the country's history. The BBC's Yolande Nell in Jerusalem.
Many Israelis would usually celebrate this holiday with a barbecue. But this year, Israeli police say there's a nationwide ban on lighting fires. The Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has declared a national emergency. He said that strong winds and dryness had created a deadly combination, fanning the wildfires. Several towns near Jerusalem have been evacuated. However, main roads which were closed into the city have now been reopened to traffic. Israel has requested international help, including firefighting planes, to help put out the remaining flames.
North Korea and Russia say they've started building their first road link. Moscow and Pyongyang hail the construction of a bridge over a border river as a major development that will further expand their growing alliance. News and analysis at townhall.com. A tragic case of law enforcement friendly fire.
A prosecutor says an officer killed while responding to a Pennsylvania hospital siege in February was hit by police gunfire. York County District Attorney Tim Barker announced the results of the investigation into the hospital shooting. West York Patrolman Andrew Duarte was the officer killed.
Two-shot strike Officer Duarte. One shot strikes him in the left arm and goes across his chest. The other strikes him at the left side chest area.
Barker says the attack at the UPMC Memorial Hospital's intensive care unit happened after the gunman learned from a doctor that the woman he lived with had died after treatment there. I'm Haya Panjwani.
North America's 3 biggest measles outbreaks have grown to a total of more than 2,500 known cases. 3 people have died in the U.S. There was 1 death in Mexico. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel and what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2.
Los Dos.
Of Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Thursday.
Ah, yes. The penultimate day of your week.
Yeah, almost there. Almost the weekend.
More than halfway there.
Old.
Yes. Thursday is Friday's Wednesday.
That's right. But it is a new month.
It is.
May the 1st. National Day of Prayer.
Yes.
1 hour from now, 9 a.m. They are going to be praying at the pole at the Historical Society there on Lee. At the flagpole there. Every Wednesday at 9 is when they normally do it. But since, May 1st, Day of Prayer, they pushed it a day today. So that'll be at 9 a.m. and all are invited to come and spend a few minutes in prayer there. And, of course, if you can't make it in person, then do it wherever you're at.
I mean, yeah, you can, tap in anywhere.
That's true. It's a good thing about it.
I've always, I love the movie Bruce Almighty. Just because of its depiction of what prayer is actually
like. I do like the computer emails and all that. That was kind of funny.
But just the way he, that it's the meme now, but of him just kind of answering prayers.
I'm a bit of a mark for movies that depict heaven in different ways. Like, usually most of them are comedic, but not like I'm telling you, to this day, Defending Your Life is still one of my top 10 favorite movies.
Yeah,
love that.
Albert Brooks is fantastic.
Love
Anything he's in, but that's a great one.
Yeah, but even like that one that Chris Rock did, where he's an angel.
Yeah, yeah.
Or that one where Crocodile Dundee, Paul Hogan's an angel. Love that one too.
I vaguely remember that one.
That was the other movie Paul Hogan did that wasn't Crocodile Dundee.
Yeah. All right, Googler.
What was it? It's like Jack or something. Something Jack or something. What was it? What was that?
Almost an Angel?
Almost an Angel, yes. That's the movie.
Wow. I genuinely do not remember this. I don't think I ever
love
saw
that
this.
movie. It's a good movie.
Yeah?
If you're a Paul Hogan fan.
That's not a Halo. This is a Halo.
It pretty much is Paul Hogan. It's Crocodile Dundee, but instead he's not Crocodile Dundee. He's a little more,
Fantastic.
He's not over the top with it. he talks the same, acts the same. He just doesn't wear all the leather and alligator and tooths and whatnot.
But that reminds me, was it Michael? Is that the name of the
John? Oh, that's the one with
John Travolta.
That's a good movie too.
That's a fantastic
where he's like
movie.
the drunken angel.
Yeah, he's like the fallen angel kind of. But yeah, I loved that movie. But
yeah,
angel depictions, they really are kind of like, hit
who
or
is
miss.
the female? Is it like it's someone who was big in the '90s that was like the female lead in that? Like
in
it
Michael?
was in Michael.
Yeah.
Was it? I want to say it's the. What's her name?
It would be.
Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue, and I can't remember. I picture her face, and I can't. Like Masterson? No.
Andy McDowell.
Andy McDowell. That's the name I was trying to think of.
And you know what?
I kept want to say Mary Stuart Masterson. I'm like, no, that's not it.
It's funny.
Andy McDowell.
Andy McDowell is maybe one of the most of a time actresses I've ever known, because she was in a bunch of stuff in the 80s and 90s and then just disappeared.
I equate her like in as far as like Mary Steenburgen. Like they kind of had that same big movies in a really, and then kind of like in the 90s there too, because she was in
Multiplicity.
Yeah.
I mean, she was in a lot of movies.
She was in Groundhog Day.
Yeah,
she was
the main female lead.
Yeah, she did. She was always that. She played that a lot of the housewife or the.
She plays aloof very well.
But I want to say she also did that Western with the all-female Western, and I want to say it was like Drew Barrymore, Andy McDowell. I feel like there was another.
Maybe Selma Hayek.
Something like that, and they were all. And I can't remember the name of the movie. They were all cowboys, cowgirls. But yeah, and it was like a posse. Like it wasn't called Posse. It was a different movie, but it was something like
Bad Girls.
Bad Girls, maybe.
Let's see.
Are they all dressed up like in?
Yeah, Drew Barrymore, Madeline Stowe, Andy McDowell, and Mary Stuart Masterson. And there's your connection to Mary Stuart Masterson.
I
knew we'd come around there eventually.
That was another one of those movies.
That's right, folks. If you have a phone, you too can have a morning show.
Well, and that hit at a time in my life where like I was in that movie was for me.
Yeah.
It was for dudes my age.
Sure.
Watching hot women, kick butt in Western movies. And with I think there's a few gratuitous nudity scenes.
Probably.
Too, if I remember. But yeah, that movie
bottom shot
was built for the 20-something-year-old dude.
Bad Girls just sounds like something Cameron Diaz would be in my generation.
To be honest, I thought she was in it.
Matter of fact, she was in that. Was a Bad Teacher.
Oh yeah, that one. Well, that's not a Western.
No, it's not a Western at all. But she was a bad. She was a bad teacher.
Gotta be me was in that one too.
Oh yeah. Actually, my favorite thing that Timberlake did, it's going to be me. May will always be like the gift he's given to us.
Yeah.
But the real gift that he's given to us is, this is going to ruin the tour. What tour? The world tour. That's the true gift that Timberlake has given to us. Is you can look at any situation and just go, oh, this is going to ruin the tour.
I would argue, for me, my one seed for him is he and Adam Sandberg gave me what I think is the greatest SNL bits ever.
Oh, 100.
Those are the funniest. The in a box.
No, the in a box. Yeah, that's a pretty good one.
That one and the one where the brother. Well, I'm your brother. What was that one? Was that the different song? Right? That wasn't the same one with the box. It was the one. Now I'm your brother, and your brother marry your mom or something.
Now I'm trying. Well, now I'm thinking of the
Happy
song.
Mother's Day. I think it was a Mother's Day
now
song, and he was talking about how he's going
to
marry your mom. That was good too.
Well, Omeletville has always been my favorite series of sketches that they do.
Yeah.
Which is them in increasingly weird breakfast costumes trying to one up each other. Let's.
Yeah, I think it's Mother's Day. Now that I think about it, it's the blank in a box and then the Mother's Day one.
Sandberg.
Yeah. That one's equally as good as the other.
Oh yeah, Mother Lover. Yep. That's I was right. That's the song I was thinking. Mother Lover. Yep.
That one I think is even funnier. But either way,
yeah.
I thank you, Tim. I could care less about anything else you did. That right there.
That's fair.
Good on you, buddy.
That's fair. It's almost as awesome, as fun for me with him as the wholesome relationship that he has with Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah.
Where they'll constantly like mimic each other.
Uh-huh.
That's always fun.
Oh yeah, I've seen some of those.
The family.
That's like a Fallon bit.
Yeah.
Like, doesn't he have a whole in the mirror bit where he gets various celebrities and they do a
That's a
thing
famous bit.
Okay.
And actually,
but I thought it was like a regular bit. Like he did that on the regular.
well, it's funny because that bit he pitched that bit to Lorne Michaels. It was the week SNL, the week that Mick Jagger was hosting.
Okay.
And so he pitched the mirror bit, and Lorne shot it down at first because he's like, that's too played out. It's been done way too many times.
Right.
Nobody wants it. Then by the end, Fallon couldn't come up with anything else, and finally he's like, let's just do the mirror bit.
Right.
And it's, to this day, one of the most iconic SNL bits.
Yeah.
A point your fingers, a point your fingers, a point at you.
Well, and you know this as well as I do. At the end of the day, what usually is the best comedy and all is the things that weren't as scripted or planned, or the things that just organically happened.
I'm not saying you have to watch the whole series,
but
if you're gonna, but I recommend going to watch that SNL documentary series. To I think it's the 4th episode.
Okay.
The entire episode is all about the cowbell sketch. And how it came to be, how it was sort of like the brainchild of Will Ferrell from his improv days.
Right.
And it just sort of like became itself. And it's a 1-hour documentary just kind of all about this one bit. And it's a fantastic watch. They really go in depth with it.
You wonder if like in the innards of Will Ferrell's house, there's like a bunch of these cowbells.
Okay, just cowbell stuff. Like, okay, for example, in rehearsal, Will Ferrell was wearing a completely different shirt. He went back after a dress, and the wardrobe people, he's like, what's the smallest size of this shirt you have? And they gave it to, it was like an adult small, and that's half the reason the bit worked so well, because nobody knew he was going to be in that shirt.
Right.
So all those breaks, all those reactions were totally
People
real.
are like, what is he doing?
Yep.
Yeah, and I think that show in and of itself breeds that, where they do try to one up or try to, half the fun is them trying to psych each other out. You know what I mean?
The Beavis and Butthead sketch still is one of my favorites.
That was good. Yeah, that was good. I'll give them that.
Yeah, that was fantastic. Because and the reason that was so good is because the person, the lady that was hosting the show, that they were doing, she never breaks. That's her. She famously keeps a straight face through all the shenanigans. So the fact that she broke as hard as she did, that's what made it. Yeah. Mikey Day's butthead is what it was, because he hadn't put the prosthetic in dress, and when he did,
I mean, it's just, when you can life-size make real versions of Beavis and Butthead, and you're kind of buying it. I mean, that's good.
Oh yeah.
All right, let me give you a rundown for this hour of the show. We'll get you updated with the weather here in just a bit. And this rain thing, man, I don't know how to, it's like they're kind of decreasing the chances. Like it's like down to like 30, but now we might get rain like all next week.
Yeah.
The way this thing's going, I'm looking, there's like rain, like they're going to like Thursday of next week, and there's like rain chances the whole time. I was like, geez Louise.
It's squeezing down the percentages, but stretching out the length of the storm.
Man,
which cool.
But we'll see. But anyway, we'll do the weather here in just a bit. And then Greg Birch, artist, will be back with us, and he's got a few irons in the fire he wants to share with us this morning. So we'll chat with Greg. Greg is pretty fly for a white guy.
I'm telling you, man. He always impresses me with his outfits, but today he came in, I was like, wow.
He's literally glowing.
He literally is glowing. That's fantastic.
But we'll get an update from Greg here in a minute. And then later on in the hour, we'll get you update with news, sports, all that good stuff. But first, your weather.
Weather this hour brought to you by Southwest Bearing under new ownership. Custom solutions for your heavy equipment. Hydraulic hoses, hose repair, bearings, seals, sprockets, belts, tools, fluids, and fittings.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We're looking pretty good today. We do have some rain coming up, though, starting tomorrow. In the meantime, sunshine and mid to upper 80s. Overnight, a few clouds, and we're in the mid-50s. And then scattered afternoon thunderstorms popping up on Friday. Looks like low 70s on the high. We do have a chance of some showers and thunderstorms coming up on Saturday with low 70s. A few more showers and cooler Sunday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 60 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 25%. Winds are calm at the moment. Warmer today. We're going to hit 87 for a high, mostly sunny. Winds will be out of the north, 5 to 15 miles per hour, shifting to the south later this afternoon. Partly cloudy tonight, looking at an overnight low of 54 degrees, southwest winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. And then tomorrow, and then till the end of my forecast, we've got rain chances. It's 30% for Friday. We're looking at scattered showers and thunderstorms for the afternoon, partly cloudy, and high of only 70 tomorrow. So enjoy your 87 today because tomorrow will be a little cooler. A little breezier as well, too. Winds will be out of the north 15 to 20 miles per hour. Friday night, we're looking at a 20% chance at isolated showers and thunderstorms. And they do that word salad of mainly before 9 and then the 9. But the evening, we got a chance of rain. Mostly cloudy, 50 for an overnight low. East winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Saturday, we're now down to a 30% chance at showers, and they're talking between noon and 3. And then after 3 more into thunderstorm mode. But partly cloudy and 76 for a high on Saturday with south winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. 20% chance of showers Saturday night, mostly cloudy, overnight low 53. Sunday, our chances are bumped up. 60% chance at showers on Sunday now with thunderstorm potential there. Partly cloudy and 73 for a high on Sunday. Sunday night, we're looking at a 50% chance at showers and thunderstorms, mostly cloudy, 56 for an overnight low. And then next week, I've got through Wednesday, and there's rain chances all that time. 30% chance of showers Monday, 78 for a high, 40% Monday night, 20% on Tuesday with a high of 74, 40% on Wednesday with a high of 71. So I think we got rain coming, at least some. I don't know if it'll be a dirt nap, those little dirt things like once every day or something, but saying there's a chance. All right, 8:20, we're going to take a 2-minute break, and then Greg Birch will join us on the other side, talk about his art and all of his things he's got coming up. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
The Eastern New Mexico University System is proud to present One Eastern Day, sponsored by J.P. Stone Community Bank on Thursday, May 1st from 4 to 9 p.m. on the campus of Eastern New Mexico University, Roswell. Come join ENMU for a family fun night featuring food trucks, inflatables, info booths, and live music by Roswell's own Grupo Maldad from 7 to 9 p.m. Bring out the whole family May 1st to ENMU Roswell and join us for One Eastern Day. Visit roswell.enmu.edu for more information. Eastern New Mexico University. Student success. That's what we're about.
It's been a long, cold, boring winter, and children in neighborhoods everywhere are waiting to hear those magical words. The pool's open! Summer weather has finally rolled around. Make sure your pool is ready. Preparing and maintaining your pool for summer the right way will create a season full of smiles instead of headaches and make your life much easier. Soft Swim, the chlorine-free sanitizing system by BioGuard, only at Mays Lumber Company.
And now through May 15th, buy $100 in BioGuard products and receive a $20 mail-in rebate. 115 South Virginia in Roswell.
Maybe your AC unit needs a little tender love and care. If you don't know where to turn, then you don't know Jack. In fact, they're downright funky. Let the boys at Fergie's Plumbing and Heating get your AC unit ice cold, just like some of my lady friends. Don't let any fool make you lose your cool. Fergie's Plumbing and Heating. If you don't know Fergie, then you don't know Jack. 632-2660.
Have you experienced the Valley Cafe yet? It's much more than lunch or dinner. It's an experience. Chef Anthony Noble is a nominated Chef of the Year and manager with a 4.9 out of 5 kitchen cleanliness rating and a 4.8 out of 5 most love rating. It's time for you to experience the difference that so many others already have at the Valley Cafe. Visit for lunch or dinner at 801 West Brasher, the Orange Building across from Church on the Move in Roswell, and save the Valley Cafe in your contacts. 575-755-EATS. 575-755-3287. Don't forget, we can cater your event too, and a portion of our proceeds go to the Dream Center in Roswell.
The inventor of Pringles is buried in a Pringles can. I wonder if they got their hands stuck putting him in there. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 23 minutes after 8 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning, artist Greg Birch back with us. Morning, Greg.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Doing good. You know, I was just thinking, just sitting here with the hair thing going on. You put your little cowboy hat on and one of those overcoats. got a little Doc Holliday going on there with the. I could see you doing the I'm your Huckleberry.
There you go. I can do that.
I'm sorry, I've got Val Kilmer Doc Holliday in my head when I say that. So.
Right. Now, I've always been cowboy, though, but I mean,
if you put the duster on and a hat, and you kind of do that, and you do like lean up against a tree and kind of. I'm your Huckleberry. The hair situation right there is perfect for that.
You know, and Drew Gomber, one of the historians, he told me, he said that actually back during those times that and I mean, he was like the historian of historians. And anyway, he was sitting there talking to me and Jason and some other people, and he said that actually back in those days the dusters weren't worn.
No.
Mm-mm.
Probably too hot.
That's a trip.
It's probably too hot. I don't know. That time I'm walking around here, I don't want a coat.
I know, right? Right.
Although imagine you're out in the middle of nowhere on a horse, and you know how things get whipping up around here. I imagine you're gonna want that duster.
Yeah, and he said that that's why they wore the dusters on the like the sleeves of the pants.
Yeah,
through all the brush.
It's funny you mention that because now I'm gonna go another direction with that, but the same kind of thing. It's a Civil War factoid there. You know how all the officers carried the swords and they ran into battle? The actual use of a sword in combat is like 1%.
Yep.
They were, like, if you talk to there was a bunch of officers that their sword was rusted into the scabbard. They couldn't even get that thing out. They were merely symbolism and rallying troops. Rarely are they using a sword for combat.
Well, because they said it would disrupt the firing of the bullet.
Yeah, it was the swords were, and to be honest, they weren't.
If you used it on the gun,
you could do a lot. Yeah, the bayonets get you. Bayonets, they were, and now by Civil War time, they were pretty much used for digging.
Yeah,
and pitching tents. Yes, when they did get into hand-to-hand combat, that's when they got used. But for the most part, bayonet. But like the officers' swords, those were never. I mean, that was mostly rally troops, wave it, that kind of thing.
Dressing.
Yeah, dress ceremonies. It was not. I mean, you could probably count on two hands the number of times there were actual kills with a sword in Civil War.
So how have you been?
Good. How you been?
I've been.
How have you? Now how's health, guys, and all that going? I know you've been doing a lot of your treatments and everything. And how's all that going? You look great and seem like you're more vibrant and seen you in a long time.
Well, there's more people out there with more problems than me, so
Well, I'm glad you're doing
leave it
good.
at that.
Well, I mean, but it looks like life's doing well for you. I'm just happy. Life's agreeing with you right now. That's what I'm saying.
I'm busy.
Good.
Busy.
Well, and this is something I probably should have started this, but I just went right out the gate with because that's what I do.
We always do.
But of course, if you're not familiar, Greg joins us. He's been on the show a bunch of times here, and he's a local artist. And he does art, contract, whatever you want. You want him to paint you something, he'll paint you whatever you want. But his niche, what he likes to do is he likes to kind of recreate or recover history through his art. And what I mean by that is, like when you think of Billy the Kid, you think of Pat Garrett, you think of the Old West of New Mexico, and you think of how life was there and the buildings and the way, the quality of life that these folks experienced. You like to recapture that through your art. You'll take buildings and facilities that have long gone the way of the dodo, and through digging through history and through archives and through everything else, you're saying, hey, this is what that building looked like. This is what the courthouse looked like in this town back then, or this is what this ranch looked like that Billy Kid hung out in at the time. So you're really, through your art, telling people this is what it looked like. And
yes, sir.
Kind of giving, because I think all of us through movies and things have a certain image. I mean, Young Guns is definitely great, and they're fun movies. But if you're looking to see what New Mexico looked like, Young Guns don't really hit that.
No.
Because if you're funny, one movie, Young Guns 1 looks totally different than Young Guns 2.
It does.
It's the way they shot it and the way they it looks more mountainy in the first one, where there's a little more desert in the they use white sands and stuff. But even Lincoln looks completely different in 2 and 1 if you ever notice. So Greg kind of says, all right, now that you got the story or kind of it, let me show you what it really looked like.
Yes, and the stairs on the courthouse in Lincoln. Just to put that out there, they was never there. all it was just a balcony.
Gotcha.
What Murphy called just a sun deck. That
Gotcha.
was it. That was
wasn't
it.
his, but
there was no stair ramp.
Well, and this is the difference with the history you cover.
Yes.
Because, like, I mean, yes, you look at, like, Revolutionary War history, Civil War history. Sure, there's stories and things, but everything's kind of chronicalized on this date, this happened, this thing. Where Wild West, you have the dime store and reality all swirling together. And so people like Billy the Kid and Pat Garrett, who were human beings that bled like you and I, in some depictions make them look like they're, larger than life.
Yes.
And some of it is true. Some of it's based on a truth that got turned into something else. That killed 57 men. No, he killed one guy and this thing happened. But because of the time, and let's face it, the Wild West was entertainment for the rest of the you know what I mean? Through these dime store novels, people are living their lives vicariously through these dime store novels. And so it created the image we think of it today. But
what drew interest.
And so your whole deal is really kind of, here's some of that, but here's how it really was. And it wasn't as glamorous and romantic as it appears in the dime store novels.
and part of that novelty there too is that most people don't know that shoot, I can't think of his name now. See, here we go.
I try to help you, but I don't know what direction you're going.
I know. Wyatt Earp.
Oh,
okay.
Yes.
During his time, whenever he went out to Las Vegas, he hung out with, and I can't think of his name, the Duke, John Wayne.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, now John Wayne done most of his character off of Wyatt Earp.
Wyatt Earp's image, and there, I'll tell you, there's an excellent documentary on Netflix.
Yes.
If you want to check it, Ed Harris, I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head. Ed Harris is the narrator, but it basically talks about the tombstone and all that went down there, but it puts it in the world stage. It shows that, and it shows the, like the Clantons and the Cowboys were master. If they had social media in that time, they would have been masters of it. And that's in essence what you're doing. But I'm going down rabbit holes here. But anyway, that documentary says what we think of Wyatt Earp today is because of what he did in Hollywood afterwards.
Yeah.
To be honest, half the nation thought he was as bad as Ike Clanton and them, depending on the story. It was very. But he went to Hollywood, kind of told his story through movies, through his way, through writing, and now we look at Wyatt Earp as the hero and the Clantons as the bad guys. That being said, I'm not saying in the big scope of things, maybe the Earps were the good guys, but it wasn't as black and white, clear cut. Red thing.
Exactly.
Red bow at the end to tie it all in a knot. There was as many
everybody
supporters
was
of the Cowboys and the Clantons as there was the Earps in this big stage that it got turned into. And so again, but that Hollywood books, the things they've kind of, and this is, I know I've got way off track, but this is kind of where you come back and bring it and say, well, this is how it was, and this is the buildings they lived in. And to be honest, it is, we look, and it's it also puts a perspective on life today too. I think
it does.
Where you look at social media
and
you look at people and they put their, oh, look at my amazing house. But, it's all a house of cards, man. Most of these people, you turn it and look, and they're living in like you or me or less.
Yeah.
And it's all smoke and mirrors. And this is a little like that in some way. And we all think these guys lived like in mansions or these haciendas. No, they probably lived in squalor, lived in dirt caves.
And there was a couple of people on social media, that I had to tell that, it's not me boasting whenever I'm sitting here posting this stuff on Facebook. It's not that. I'm trying to show a little bit of the accolades that I have gotten to do.
Absolutely.
But it's not boasting, saying that I'm better than you or anything like that. It's like just showing what I'm up to date doing.
Well, here's the thing, too. And this is you're also putting a spotlight on these things.
Yes, sir.
Whereas as you come and you go to these various historical societies or chambers or wherever you're going into these towns and saying, hey, I paint a picture of old courthouse. I'd love for you to have, the kind of stuff. And so, yes, but you're an artist. And this is what artists do. And this, if you're not an artist and you're not doing this, you're probably not making much money.
Exactly.
You got to eat. You got to work. But at the same time, how many people didn't know anything about this particular town or this particular courthouse or this particular story, and you put a spotlight on it. So it's a give and take. So yes, but you're also educating others and saying, hey, this is a town. Did you know about this? Go do your own research. Maybe my painting put you there. But I want you to, you really want to know what went on at Fort Sumner or whatever, do this. And so...
Because there was a lot that went on in Fort Sumner.
And so,
now.
yeah. And so this is what I want to, yes, I follow Greg and please, but also taking the history and what he's showing you and giving you and using that to maybe inspire you to go check these places out and go see what's in your own backyard. Because a lot of Greg's paintings are probably within a 3-4 hour drive of you right here, right now.
Exactly. Exactly.
And so that being said, let's give you a chance. What's your latest works? What are you doing now?
Let's start off with this is the Artist Close-Up magazine. I guess I got to look at that camera up here now.
That's
I don't know if they
That's
can
a
see
magazine?
That. Yes, sir.
Looks like a book.
I know, right? But this comes from Amsterdam.
Okay.
And this is shipped worldwide. Basically, when you're at airports, casinos, hotels.
It's like a information, almost like a brochure. It's a magazine, but I mean, it's an advertising tool, marketing tool to get people to check out their stuff.
And whenever I open it up for you and show it, you're gonna say, "Wow, okay." But anyway, this shows different artists from across the globe.
Okay.
That get into this magazine.
So it's pretty.
So this is the 28th edition.
Okay.
And I mean, this took me forever to get into. Now they want me in the 40th and the 46th edition.
Oh, nice.
So I've got to.
Now is 28 the most recent?
Yes. Well, no. I mean, they're doing one. They usually do one like once a month.
Okay. So you got a couple months before they get to the 40s, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think they're on like number. I think the other day, whenever I looked, it was like on 32.
Okay.
Is what I believe that they're at.
And so they're literally spotlighting artists from around the globe, basically.
Exactly. And on page 44, that's...
Oh, sweet. There's the Greg page.
That's where I'm at.
How cool is that? And, of course, some folks might recognize a few of those paintings in there, too, if you followed any of Greg's stuff.
Well,
How
and
cool
there's,
is that?
There's one here that's sold that's it's up in Albuquerque, so it's the bottom one there that all go home.
That is so cool. So how does that process happen? How does that... I mean, obviously, you're hitting it with that stuff, but is it like, do they keep sending you no letters and then eventually a yes letter? How does that work?
Pretty much.
Gotcha.
I mean, you will not. I mean, that's what people get to see, the fun stuff that I get, but they don't get to see the late nights that you're sitting there
selling yourself, selling the work, selling the goods. Yeah.
I mean, while everybody else is sleeping, you're working.
Well,
because most of these places, I mean, they're on a totally different time zone than we are.
Sure.
Unless they're United States.
And I'm going to take a stab that there's about 1,000 other people like you hitting them up the same. You know what I mean? It's from around the world. They probably got people in Europe, Asia, Africa.
But see, now they're
Australia.
within the same time zone. You know, I mean, you would.
But
be
but you know what I mean? They're all like these folks are getting inundated, and you are literally trying to stand out in this sea of a bunch of others. Basically.
Well, you're talking about the United States, which is, I mean, I'm not saying nothing towards anybody right now, but I'm just saying that for you to get into different places, and especially if you're an artist, I mean, as much as we're disliked, it's like, good luck to you, buddy.
Sure.
And so you got to go through all this blood, sweat, and tears, and that's what I'm saying. It's all the hard work that you got to put in.
So it's cool that you're seeing fruit from that labor now.
It is.
Now,
but
personally, I'm kind of curious, like, does this put you in a different, obviously you draw on a customer base, you got a local stuff, but does this broaden the customer base for you? Like, how does this impact you personally?
This right here, once you make these magazines and these kind of things, that makes you Mr. or Mrs. International.
Does it? I'm going to take a stab. It also allows you to command a little bit more. Like, okay, Greg Birch is not as cheap today as it was a year. You know what I mean?
Pretty much
is what I'm saying. So
pretty much. Them dudes that you got sitting on the floor. Yeah, there was some money.
Keep doing it, man, so you can make these things work. I got to retire.
Hey, dude.
Just kidding.
Hey, you got to do what you got to do.
That's my retirement right there. No, I'm just kidding.
Heck, man, I'll make a Metallica look good now.
I'm kidding. Those will never leave me. But,
well, and I wouldn't blame anybody who's bought one because there's been several people that has bought that has resold, and they've told me what they've gotten for them now. And
You're like, I should have held out.
But it's the credentials that the buyer gets.
Sure. Well, and at the end of the day, it does help you. Like, oh, I just sold my Greg Birch to so-and-so for this amount of money, and it does, factor in the supply and demand.
It does. And I hate trying to sound like that's boasting, but that's what I've earned the right to do.
Absolutely.
And not to boast, but to say, okay, these paintings are high value now.
Well, no one else will boast until they do. You know what I mean? It's you got to get on these stages to where people say, "Oh my goodness!" And this is and I'm guarantee you right now. Angelo, Picasso, you name it, though. Whatever. Think of the most famous artists you can think of. You name it. They didn't just pop onto Earth one day and start creating masterpieces.
Nope. and they spent the long nights. And so those nights that you sit there and tell me, dude, go to bed, and the music is getting stupid, it's like, but that's my creative hour. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
And I do work during the day. Don't think about art that I'm not doing it during the day. I'm doing it during the day, and then I do it at night.
Well, how much of it, and this is just G is curious, how much, like, this is where, because everyone's process is different, but like when you go with a painting, are you stewing and thinking for 6 days, or you literally just put a blank piece of canvas in front of you and say, all right, let's just see where this goes? I mean,
I let it talk to me.
Okay, I didn't know, or if you're like sitting there, no, I want to do this, and then you like for 3 days you're like, I put but I need to mix this color to, you know what I mean? I didn't know how that process was, or you literally say, no, I'm gonna eat a sandwich and then throw this canvas up on the easel, and I'm just gonna start throwing paint at it and see what it does.
No, I don't do that.
Okay.
I throw it up there and I let it talk to me, and that's when a psychotherapist would be like, all right, we need a straitjacket for this
Right.
thing. But
I imagine because there's a lot of detail in some of those paintings, a lot of that's got to be kind of sketched out or something at first before you just start throwing paint on it.
I think
right?
that a lot of it too. Y'all was talking about Adam Sandler a while ago.
Yeah.
And he done an interview to where he was like, there's times that he just let his stuff flow.
Gotcha.
Just let it go and just see what happens.
Sure.
And plays it by ear.
Well, in comedy that can work. I don't know if that always works in paintings and things like that.
That's true.
Too,
That's true. That is very true.
And it can also be a disaster in comedy too if you don't know what you're doing. But
exactly. But the biggest thing is that I just hooked up with behind the scene and just keeping it quiet because the higher the ladder that you go, the more that the field that you're in, people look at you.
Sure.
And sometimes they like to borrow your stuff.
Well, that is and that's you're a victim of your own success on those sometimes, and it's really true in any field. I mean, comedians and everything else. You get good, they start stealing your stuff, and so a lot of it you have. And I'm gonna and like the comic world, it's really hard to defend it because you don't necessarily. Well, here's a patent right here for my thing, and it's like no. I here's my painting, and then we argue, all right, well, who painted first and what, and this and that, and then you get into the thing like, well, is it really mocking, or is it just y'all were thinking the same thing, and it kind of branched into the same, music does that all the time. I mean, how many songs you hear songs that were, I mean, yes, there's a few that are blatant, and there's lawsuits about it, but there's
Vanilla Ice.
Yeah,
and so, come on.
So you're battling that, I'm telling you as well, but I guess you could tell you're like, look, this dude's painting the same things and the same. I mean, it's the same styles, the same technique. That this guy's literally.
And there's been a couple of competitions that I'm entered in Roswell, or not in Roswell, but in New Mexico. That let's just say that up north, that we all know who painted.
Gotcha.
And it was borrowed. And it was borrowed distinctly. Let's just put it that way.
Wow.
And so once you start getting lawyers and stuff like that involved, you can drag it out for years.
Sure.
You can. And so you got to pick and choose your battles.
Sure. I'm curious, do you deal with the other thing? Like the other side of this, where, like, yes, you have your techniques, you things you do and signature things you see in your paintings. But it gets me thinking, when you think of things like Norman Rockwell and Thomas Kincaid, does it pigeonhole you? where it's like at that point when Norman Rockwell and Thomas Kincaid are putting things out, it better look like one of their things, or people are going to be salty. You know what I mean? Is it a blessing and a curse? And what I mean by this, like that day you're thinking, oh, I got to do it this way because that's what people want, but I kind of don't want to.
No, see, because they only painted one way.
Gotcha.
They could not paint another way.
Okay. It's just so it's a physical. That's their stank. And
exactly.
Which if you change it, your stank's not there.
Well, whenever I went to college, that was one thing that my deans had always told me is that there again, folks, don't take it wrong, but they said that that's 1 in a million that can actually change up styles.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I can do. I can flip you on a dime.
So that's kind of where your thing is. Like, I don't want to be pigeonholed.
And that's how come that it's like whenever you see something that's out there,
sure,
you're like, because I add extra things to mine.
Sure.
That if someone was to borrow my stuff, I don't have to drag it out in court for decades.
Right.
And I don't want to do that. I know that artists borrow from each other.
Sure.
It's just a common thing.
Sure.
But when it's blatant.
Well, I think there's a difference between copying and borrowing to take it to the next level.
Exactly.
Like, that's an homage. That's different. Like, I'm sure there's artists that you grew up admiring, and there's little pieces in your work that are their influence.
George O'Keeffe.
Yeah, I mean, the music and everything else. You look at famous musicians, you hear things, and it's like the influences they had. That's one thing. But to literally say, here's a duck, I'm putting a duck, this, that's plagiarism. That's where the line is.
Exactly.
And that's where it does get confusing. So. But this is also like in the cartoon or that world too. You can't just draw Donald Duck or Mickey Mouse and say, here it is, because guess what? Disney or Looney Tunes are going to. Yeah.
You have to change it.
Yeah. It's kind of, those are actually copyrighted, trademarked imagery.
So when you do change it, then at that point, then nobody can say that you copied.
Sure.
And there's nothing.
And then I'm guessing, because there is laws on like, I guess in like the audio world, kind of like a parody version of, and that you're protected under freedom under some of that. Where if you're parodying something, you're getting a little. Now, you don't get carte blanche. You get a little, but you get a little creative freedom on it sounding like it, or looking like it, and things like that. But
kind of like Napster back in the day when they was just taking it.
There's some gray area. But this is cool. Let's talk to the positive again. So this is cool that you get to be a part of this now.
Yes.
And see that, and really,
it puts
creating
me in
more
a
of an
different
international stage.
Yes, it puts
I mean, you already
me
have that presence, but it's adding to that layer.
Well, now they put me into a whole new category of artists to where it's like, okay, you basically don't have to pay the entry fee.
Sure.
To come in and see the work.
Now, does this kind of set the table for maybe like a museum or some kind of gallery inviting you to say, hey, set up here's a room.
I've already got 4.
Go. But this is what that creates, that kind of thing where they say, we would love for you to host a wing in our gallery here of Greg Birch.
I actually got the new one here in the mail the other day, and it's in New York.
That is cool.
And it's a big time one.
Like, I'm guessing you got to go to these places at some point, right? Some people want to see your faces at these places.
I have to, but there's also some personal things that I'm going through that don't allow me at this time.
But I'm saying at some point you got to get out there and meet
I
the
have
people.
to.
Yeah.
That's all that there is to it.
That's going to be so cool when you do.
Right now, like I said, there's personal things that
you got to get your life in order.
But anyway, the big thing right now I need to tell the public is I know people like to vote, so I'm giving you something personal to vote on.
All right, got a place where we can vote on Greg here?
Well, as soon as I get the link, I will post it on my Facebook page.
Okay, let me know and we can
Greg
share it
Birch.
on our Talk FM stuff and all that.
I was going to ask you if I could send it to y'all as soon as I get it.
We'll make sure. We'll give it to Jocelyn to get on there. Roy, no, I'm just kidding.
But anyway, it's with Montana Silversmith Company, which anybody that don't know who that is, they basically do belt buckles, jewelry, you basically know who Montana Silversmith Company is.
Cowboy Accessory Accent is they got it all for you.
They've done a belt buckle for John Deere, just done the John Deere logo in the center of it. Anyway, this was a competition, and this is to earn the right to have a contract with them.
Okay.
Mine is and they said on the competition that each belt buckle has a story.
Okay.
And so basically I haven't let anything out of the bag until today.
All right.
And so y'all are the first to hear about it right here. But anyway, the belt buckle is basically a 2-in-1 belt buckle.
Okay.
Is what I've designed. And the outside of it is a horseshoe. And I'm going to post it on my page today.
Okay.
Because today was the close date of it. But anyway, the horseshoe was my grandpa's belt buckle.
Oh, okay.
And I've never seen anything like this. But anyway, I redesigned it. And on the inside of it is just a regular square belt buckle. And basically, it's American cowboy, American cowgirl. But you got to sign away your rights as soon as you do the entry, which means that Montana Silversmith can redesign it any way that they see feasible.
You lose all monies of making from this.
But
thing. Yeah.
you get the right to hopefully earn a contract.
Gotcha.
So they will give the artist the credit that designed it.
But they're going to make all the money off of it.
Right.
But you get your foot in the door.
If you get a contract.
Sure.
At that point, you get to set your price
of
what you're going to design.
Now you're a exactly.
I mean, they're a $28 million a year company, is what they are.
Of course, does that? I hope that. Of course, it may not, because I was thinking, will it get to a point where that turns to your day job, where you're designing belt buckles all day, and it could?
Well, we will see.
Right.
But as soon as I get the link, the public goes and votes.
Oh,
and
well, we'll share all that. But in the meantime,
I need Roswell to vote for me, please. I could use your vote.
Get the links to us. We'll get them on the our Facebook and all that, and we'll link all that, and we get people to go out and vote. And who knows, might be seeing Greg's belt buckle design on the regular there.
They wanted just a plain sketch is basically what they wanted. I added some color to it. The one that you're going to see don't have the barrel racer.
Okay.
I used the college logo in Wyoming where they're located.
Okay.
Which the horse itself is in the Hall of Fame, the PRCA, where I've got a painting hanging. So I used theirs, the college logo on the first belt buckle, which is the American cowboy.
Okay.
Just to add that little oomph and to give them an extra little. Oh, this dude's pretty slick.
Yeah, right.
That's pretty cool.
It's kind of like when the rock concert goes, "Thank you, Detroit." We're in Detroit. It's kind of giving that personal nod.
Yeah, exactly.
Just make sure you're in Detroit when he does it.
Yeah, I would do it there. I wouldn't take that somewhere else. But no, I would just. Basically on humble knee, if the public, as soon as I post the link, if they could vote and give me a vote for it, and at least get me in there to where I hope this belt buckle competes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's never been done. Out of all the belt buckles, and trust me, I love to do research.
Yeah.
And out of all the belt buckles that I've seen, and actually, I've made it to where you can interchange it. So in other words, they could put like two hearts together if somebody's getting married or something like that, which in today's time, I don't see that happening very much. But anyway, you can put, like if you wanted something symbolic to like somebody who passed away, they could design something, put that in there. They could design it and put, something for team roping or something like that. You can't put basically bull riders because bulls don't wear horseshoes. That's just a given. But.
Right? That's like putting a cowboy in high heel, right? Just don't make sense.
Hey, you went down a different road there, brother. Woo. But anyway, people can follow me on Instagram if they want to. It's Greg Birch 40 on Instagram.
And on Facebook as well, Greg Birch. That's why I
you
know
can
him.
go right on Greg Birch on Facebook.
I'm too old to figure out Instagram at this point.
And then as soon as you link up with me on Facebook, I'll send you over to my New Mexico art page.
Yeah.
And we're slowly getting some things. I've got I got a new etching machine.
Okay.
That basically, as soon as it comes in, this is a leather case. I can do etching, which is going to have my 4 Aces art design.
Oh, cool.
On the face of it, and I found some coasters that I'm going to do.
Nice.
And I can basically laser etch now.
Nice.
So
Getting more high tech.
I'm kind of playing.
Pretty soon, you're going to have a whole lab down there doing all kind of weird stuff.
Well, maybe I can bring something new to Roswell.
That'd be great. But in the meantime, let's get that vote on here. And follow
please.
Greg Birch on Facebook. Just Greg Birch, GREGBURCH. Really easy. And maybe put Roswell in there just because I imagine there's a few other Greg Birches floating around on the internet.
Mine comes right up.
and of course, like and follow. And then, of course, if you are wanting commissioned art done,
I'm doing a bunch right now.
Greg, get on the list. Greg can he'll add it to the pile.
And Instagram is Greg Birch altogether.
Okay.
40, and that's BURCH.
Very good.
None of it capital.
Awesome. Well, thank you, sir. And
brother, thank you.
Congratulations on the success, man. And all of those going bigger, better, and pretty soon you'll be too big for us. So.
Nah.
All right, it is 8:55. Let's pause for news and a quick break before news. Don't go away. More news. Don't go away.
Now for your Pecos Valley News Update. I'm Jared Cirillo. Roadrunner Food Bank says about 500 families participated in this past weekend's pop-up food distribution event. The event gave out free produce, frozen turkeys, and water, among other items, in the parking lot of the Bulldog Bowl. David Montez, the distribution manager, said Roadrunner has handed out more than 615,000 pounds of food to more than 11,000 families in New Mexico so far this year. The U.S. is now prosecuting migrants who enter the country through a newly created military zone along the southern border in New Mexico. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth recorded a video in the zone this past week and called it a, quote, national defense area. He said any illegal who attempts to enter that zone is entering a military base.
This may as well be a military base inside the United States of America. Newly announced, newly formed.
Court filings submitted Monday show that the Department of Justice is charging at least 28 people with, quote, violations of security regulations for entering the zone. The charge is a misdemeanor, but could result in a year in prison. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo.
All across America, this is the Red Apple Audio Network's Market Report.
Stocks will open today right about where they were yesterday at this time. Stocks were down at times yesterday, but recovered from a wave of reports, one saying the economy is now contracting, others saying but not by as much as it looks. Attorney Gary Angiuli says business people he talks with are praying for the best and planning for worse in the economy this year. The only two sectors higher at some points yesterday were consumer basics and healthcare. Top losing stocks included Starbucks and Airbnb. Elon Musk goes back to running Tesla today and spending just 1 or 2 days a week on Doge. He says so far they've saved $160 billion, far below the $2 trillion he hoped for, but President Trump said you're welcome back here anytime. After the closing bell, Meta and Microsoft both said revenues are higher than expected, and both stocks jumped after hours. So the talk last evening was that the rebound may continue. Mortgage applications fell again last week. Barbara Corcoran says now would be a good time to buy a house if possible, because there are so few buyers, the sellers will come down in price. With business, I'm Joe Connolly.
This is the Red Apple Audio Network's Market Report.
James Golden, a.k.a. Bosun Early here with an urgent retirement warning. Even as Trump stands up to China, billionaires are fleeing Wall Street, including Warren Buffett. But I trust the experts at Colonial Metals Group to help you. Visit freegoldguide.com/Bo or call 800-941-0498 for your free gold guide on how to bulletproof your IRA and 401k with gold, tax-free. You can also qualify for a free home safe and as much as $7,500 in free silver. Once again, that's freegoldguide.com/Bo.
Jesus loves the little children, all the children of the world. That's a lyric from a well-known kids song. Along with Jesus Loves Me, This I Know, they are probably the first two songs many of us learned, especially if we started our life in church. Unfortunately, I'm afraid that fewer and fewer of our children today learn those songs or truly understand that Jesus loves them and that he continues to love them for their entire lives, no matter where they find themselves or no matter what they do. Wouldn't our world be a better place if every child were taught the love of God for them? When Jesus was asked what the most important commandment was, he stated that the first was love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. And the second is like it, love your neighbor as yourself. If we teach the children in our lives those two valuable lessons, along with how God loves them, they will have a great foundation for a good life.
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday, located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell.
Your home for Armed American Radio is 106.5 FM, KEND Roswell.
You're listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND Roswell, New Mexico. Town Hall News is up next. We'll be back on the other side of news. Don't go away.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Senate Republicans have handed President Trump a victory on tariffs. The Republicans voting down a Democratic resolution that would have blocked the president's tariffs. Their levies, and Mr. Trump says, are already producing jobs, making America rich again. Before you blame him for the economy's contraction in the first quarter, President Trump has one word for you: Bidenomics.
For the first time in 3 years, the U.S. economy did not grow during the first quarter. Donald Trump was in office for more than 2 of the 3 months, but he claimed he isn't to blame for the contraction.
That's Biden. That's not Trump, because we came in on January. This is quarterly numbers.
The president is telling Americans to be patient, arguing that his tariffs would eventually lead to an economic boom. Greg Clugston, Washington.
Treasury Secretary Bessent says the newly inked U.S.-Ukraine economic cooperation deal should send a message to Vladimir Putin.
Today's agreement signals clearly to Russian leadership that the Trump administration is committed to a peace process centered on a free, sovereign, and prosperous Ukraine over the long term. It's time for this cruel and senseless war to end.
Under the deal, the U.S. gets development rights to Ukraine's rare earth minerals. This will help Ukraine repay its war debts and will fund reconstruction of the country once the war is over. Oman's foreign minister says the next round of nuclear talks, scheduled for Saturday between Iran and the U.S., have been postponed. Those talks were to have been held in Rome. Deadly spring storms have pounded parts of the nation's midsection and some points to the east. Flash flooding produced by thunderstorms in Texas and Oklahoma blamed for at least 2 deaths. On Wall Street, the Dow trading 318 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals, too.
Call 866-755-5300. That's 866-755-5300. Again, that's 866-755-5300. Call us right now.
In Australia, the estranged husband of a woman accused of murdering several people with poisonous mushrooms has taken the stand at her trial. Defendant Erin Patterson says it was a tragic accident, says she did not mean to hurt anyone.
Simon Patterson had been invited to the fateful meal in July 2023, but declined the invite the day before. He told the court he didn't think they'd ever had a gathering the size of that lunch, the family preferring to meet in parks or his parents' house instead. He also talked about their relationship. Simon and Erin Patterson married in 2007. He told jurors he'd been attracted to Erin Patterson's intelligence and wit. The following years, though, were peppered with separations and reconciliations before a definitive split in 2015.
The BBC's Katie Watson. Secretary of State Rubio has called senior officials in India and Pakistan in an effort to defuse the crisis that followed last week's deadly attack in Kashmir. Townhall.com. The Trump administration tightening the rules regarding international students and whether they should face deportation.
New guidelines shared Monday in a court filing include deporting a student whose visa to enter the U.S. was revoked. In the past, if a student's visa was revoked, they could usually stay in the U.S. to finish school. They just couldn't re-enter the country if they left. Attorneys for immigration students say now the State Department can revoke a visa and deport a student even if they've done nothing wrong. One attorney says a client lost their status in the crackdown because a law enforcement database searched by immigration authorities showed the student was once charged with a traffic offense. Donna Warder, Washington.
President Trump says the U.S. will see more than $2 trillion of investments by a range of companies, the latest group to announce an expansion of their American operations. On Wall Street, the NASDAQ is up 418 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel said, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 3.
Tres Inviernos
of Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy, oh so happy Thursday, everybody.
Yes, welcome to it.
May the 1st.
May the 1st, indeed. May Day.
It is. National Day of Prayer.
Yes.
Matter of fact, right at this moment, they're praying at the pole over at the Historical Society, right at 9 a.m. If you're within, close proximity of that area, swing on by.
Yeah.
There and get
if you're not, you can still put one up there.
You don't break traffic laws to get over there, but if you're by there, get on in. Give it might help you.
Yeah,
but you never know.
Don't have to bow your head and close your eyes, especially not if you're driving.
Certainly can't help hurt by doing it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Go ahead.
So, my sister sent me this video, and this happened in Blanchard, Oklahoma.
Okay.
There's a section of road in Blanchard that just got completely wiped out. Like
from storms?
I'm going to post the video up on the 106.5 Facebook page so y'all can check it out. But I'm waiting for the wide shot to show Mike here. This section of road just gets completely wiped out, and people are on the other side of this, and it's a county road.
Wow.
And that's the only way out.
Is that like a sinkhole, or what is that?
I think it's bordering on like a pond or like a
there flooding
small part
or
of a lake. It looks like maybe something broke through, and yeah, just a section of the road is gone. But these people are on the other side of this gorge or whatever that got carved out, and they're just stranded there. Like there's no way to get out. I'm like, For the last hour, I've been thinking about, like, logistically, what do you do? I mean, do you just, like, build a rope bridge, or?
I don't know how big that hole is.
Well, it's a section of road.
I know
is what it is. So
but I don't know how big the gap is.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
There are devices and tools available to things. Like the military has, if you need to get across a river or something quick, they've got things to do.
Oh, sure. Yeah, they've got, like,
so I feel like there is a tool that would
like
that they could do, whether it's a bridge layer or shoot. We just put them on a helicopter and carry them back over.
That's one of those, because I have family.
How many people were there?
It just looks like, well, they said there's 8 homes on the other side of that.
Why can't we just get a couple of big helicopters, land there, pick them up, and
that's
carry
what
them
I
over?
would think. But then you also got to think, there are properties over there. Some of them probably have, livestock or animals. It's mind blowing to me, though, because I have family who live down these county roads where literally there's only one road out.
It's not an island, is it? I mean, it's the middle.
Well, no, it's not an island. But if you've ever been through, like, the outskirt roads of Oklahoma, there are certain spots where when you turn off, you're going down a road, and that's literally the only way into this, like, area of homes.
But I mean, like, there's physical land, like there's woods or something. Like they're not like isolated. Like they can't get to the other side of the land.
I would think, and in the comments,
a long way or something.
In the comments, it's talking about go down to the mile marker and get across that way.
I mean, do they have to trek through woods to get through this or something? But
I'm not sure.
I feel like they're not like isolated, like surrounded by water and can't get to the other people.
Yeah.
Like they might have to hike 20 miles around the other way to get out, but they can get out. You know what I mean?
It's just, I don't think they're going to be getting their Domino's delivery.
Yeah, now that being said, DoorDash will not be showing up with their Uber Eats.
Sorry about that DoorDash you guys were hoping for. Although Amazon could get to you because they have those drones. So
although I would laugh hard if someone's parked at the edge of that road with like a Pizza Hut thing on their car.
Or they just wrapped up a delivery. Like, oh, come on! This was my last delivery.
I didn't even get a good tip. Right. Oh, man. This is going to mess up the...
I had tickets to Morgan Wallen.
I'm not going to get my salt and pepper shaker. But that is weird.
Yeah, it's one of those interesting anomalies of this, yes, the earth can move. And also, if you ever see water running over a road, do not drive over that road.
Well, yeah.
Crazy stuff can happen.
They've been telling us this for years, forever, about flooding and the roading. And every time there's somebody, they're usually in a pickup. It's usually a little taller, and they think they can go through it.
Yeah,
and
my tires
every time they get stuck in the middle.
My tire's got the tread, the good tread.
Just because your truck is big doesn't mean it's a boat.
Right. It could very quickly become one.
People don't, and and you don't realize how strong and how powerful water is. It literally moves mountains. Do you think it'll move your F-350?
Right.
It'll move it, no problem.
That's still the one video that stands out in my head from the flood. Is the one from the people that were stuck on top of the convention center.
Yeah.
Watching their cars leave the parking lot without them. That's wow.
They're all down at Roswell Livestock. They floated down there. Yeah, that's the power of water, man. People don't get. So yeah, when you see that thing, stop. Don't be the idiot. Don't be that guy. And it's usually a guy. I face it. This is a dude.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
This is a dude doing this. I'm telling you right now. And people are like, you're stereotyped. Yes, I am.
Yeah, well.
Yes, I am. Most women are smart enough to not do this.
I don't know of any woman I've ever met who has rolled coal. Right. I don't know of any woman I've ever met who has hung male body parts from their truck.
Right.
And I've never known any female to try to traverse over a watery road.
No, not. It's all dudes.
Y'all tend to have a prefrontal cortex that works.
Yeah, that flight or fight thing's working for you. Apparently, it's not for some of these dudes. Anyway, don't just put that in your back pocket for later. Because when it floods the next time, 5 years or 10 years, when we get it, it's gonna be that thing.
Y'all be careful out there.
It's just. I don't, and this is why I'm starting to get why old people are screaming at cloud or yelling at the grass or whatever. It does feel like as I get older, I feel like people lack common sense sometimes.
Right.
the older I get, the more I realize common sense is uncommon.
Yeah, and people don't learn from mistakes.
Yeah.
People don't. Yeah, it's.
And I gotta be honest. And then when it is common sense, and there's the people that, well, duh, and I'm like, but duh, nothing. I've seen people do this thing, saying it, and yes, that's why. And it's why I state the obvious on here. People are like, well, duh. You know what? It's duh to you.
Yep.
But there's so many not does that didn't realize that. And when you find out is when they're sitting in the thing with the water up to their knees or whatever the situation is that they put themselves in.
Yeah, if you want to see just how little people know about things, go to your TikTok, your YouTube Shorts, whatever, and just type "today years old" in, and you're going to see a bunch of people like, I was today years old when I learned this functional thing that most people know already.
You know what the new 3-letter word is on social media? Is this real? I've seen that in more videos.
Yeah, ITR. Yeah.
Like you put any kind of weird video out there. Some are clearly not fake. Somebody open the comments. Everything guaranteed. Is this real or is this AI? Is this real or is this AI? Even stuff. It's almost to the point where like, all right, come on, that is real. Clearly, that is the thing. That's not AI. It's stupid, but it is real.
There's still,
or the other way. Like there's 3 hands there. Come on.
As long as if it's video, that's one thing. If it's a photo, it's getting a little harder to tell these days.
Tricky.
But videos, there's still some hallucinations that give it away.
And then in the social media world, people create a lot of staged videos. Like I'm going to take a stab. 90% of I'm arguing on a plane or arguing in a something, those are stage videos.
Probably, yeah.
With the only time you can tell when there's actual hands being thrown and cops rolling in that. But when you just see
the Waffle House sign in the background,
yeah. But when you see the crazy person saying something just overtly racist or ridiculous, it's a stage thing. It's content creation.
Right.
They set up these things to get you ticked off and mad, and it works every time. Every curmudgeon, old curmudgeon. This person should be hung. This person should be, and then you get staged, faked, not real. And so that's the internet today. That's social media.
This is the world we live in.
So if you wise to it, then you're right. But that's the problem. Most aren't wise. All right, I'm moving on. We're gonna get a little more sophisticated.
Ooh.
We have the folks in the Roswell Symphony Orchestra going to join us here in just a bit. Big show. Saturday night, May 3rd at the Pearson Auditorium. Kinderman plays Beethoven. William Kinderman, pianist, and Beethoven scholar. He's going to be performing Beethoven and other things as well here. And so they're going to join us, and we'll chit-chat all about it. It's going to be a fun night. It's free for students. If you're a student, free show.
I'm a student of life.
Well, I mean,
no.
Pull it off. Try it.
Give it a shot. Could somebody make me a fake ID for life, like university or something? Life you.
Feels fun. maybe be a student of I don't know. Didn't say what.
Life University human beings. Go human beings.
Maybe you're just never mind. I was going to say it's not going to end well. No. All right, but yes, we'll talk with them about that here in just a bit. Before we do any of that though, let's take a look at your weather. And they keep like lessening some of the rain chances certain days and up it on others, but they've stretched it out. Like once tomorrow hits through at least through like midweek next week, I'm looking at rain chances and could be going on. So, but anyway, here's your weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We're looking pretty good today. We do have some rain coming up, though, starting tomorrow. In the meantime, sunshine and mid to upper 80s. Overnight, a few clouds, and we're in the mid-50s. And then scattered afternoon thunderstorms popping up on Friday. Looks like low 70s on the high. We do have a chance of some showers and thunderstorms coming up on Saturday with low 70s. A few more showers and cooler Sunday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 63 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 24%. Winds currently out of the north at 9, gusting to 18 miles per hour. Today, warm, actually. Mostly sunny, 87 for a high today. So it's going to be warm today. North winds 5 to 15, shifting to the south this afternoon. Tonight, partly cloudy, overnight low of 54 degrees. Southwest winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. And then tomorrow, the rain chances hit. It's going to be cooler, too. Temps do drop tomorrow as well, or Friday, as well. We go basically from 87 today to 70 tomorrow. We are looking at a 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon, partly cloudy, 70 for a high, north winds 15 to 20 miles per hour. Friday night, our chance of rain is at 20%. They're saying mostly cloudy, overnight low of 50, winds out of the east, 5 to 15 miles per hour, shifting to the south after midnight. For Saturday, we are looking at, it looks like they shifted the better rain chances from Saturday to Sunday, but there are rain chances for both days. 30% chance of rain on Saturday. They're looking at partly cloudy, 76 for a high, south winds 5 to 15. 20% chance of showers, thunderstorms Saturday night, mostly cloudy, 53. Sunday, our chance of rain now bumps up to 60%. We're looking at a 60% chance of showers and thunderstorms. They're talking mainly for the afternoon Sunday, partly cloudy and 73. 50% chance of rain and showers and all that Sunday night, mostly cloudy, overnight low of 56. And then through Wednesday next week, we're looking at rain chance as well. 30% on Monday with a high of 78, 20% on Tuesday with a high of 74, 40% on Wednesday, partly cloudy, high of 71. All right, 9:19, we're going to take a 2.5-minute break, and then we'll talk with the Roswell Symphony Orchestra on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Jesus loves the little children, all the children of the world. That's a lyric from a well-known kids song. Along with Jesus Loves Me, This I Know, they are probably the first two songs many of us learned, especially if we started our life in church. Unfortunately, I'm afraid that fewer and fewer of our children today learn those songs or truly understand that Jesus loves them and that he continues to love them for their entire lives, no matter where they find themselves or no matter what they do. Wouldn't our world be a better place if every child were taught the love of God for them? When Jesus was asked what the most important commandment was, he stated that the first was love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. And the second is like it, love your neighbor as yourself. If we teach the children in our lives those two valuable lessons, along with how God loves them, they will have a great foundation for a good life.
Join us at the Country Club Road Church of Christ for worship at 10 a.m. on Sunday, located on the corner of Country Club and Washington in Roswell.
When managing a chronic illness, access to the right treatments makes all the difference. Artesia General Hospital's Infusion Center provides IV therapy and biologic treatments, so you don't have to travel far for care. Expert infusion therapy right here in Artesia. Call 575-736-8256 today to learn more.
Your home is your sanctuary, and the land it's built on is even more precious. So when termites start devouring your house, you want a proven treatment that's environmentally responsible. You want the Centricon Termite Colony Elimination System. The Centricon system is the green way to protect homes from subterranean termites. Rather than surrounding your house with hundreds of gallons of diluted chemical solution, the Centricon system strategically uses just a few grams of active ingredient in termite bait, working with natural termite behavior to destroy termite colonies. With this technology, it's no wonder the Centricon system became the only termite treatment to receive the Presidential Green Chemistry Challenge Award from the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. And homeowners rate the Centricon system as the most environmentally sound termite treatment. Your home is your sanctuary, so monitor, bait, and eliminate termites with the Centricon system. Think of it as your own little piece on Earth.
Call Bob Reed Pest Control today for all of Southeast New Mexico. 575-623-5344.
The tool used to measure your feet at the shoe store is called a Brannock device. The person that measures your feet at home for no reason is called a creep with a foot fetish. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 22 minutes after 9 o'clock, and joining us in studio from the Roswell Symphony Orchestra, of course, Maestro John Farrer and Cisco Brink back with us this morning. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, Mike.
Glad to see you back again. How's life been treating y'all?
You know, if it was any better, I don't think we could stand it.
That's right.
It's just that good.
There was a saying somebody used to, if it would be any better, I'd be twins or something like that.
Even better.
Yeah,
Even better.
One of those older folks from back in the radio days used to say it all the time. But for folks that aren't familiar, first off, Roswell Symphony Orchestra is one of New Mexico's treasures. It's much bigger than Roswell. And it is, I have to say, if you talk like, take it whatever, the Philharmonic, the San Francisco, or whatever the major. Guess what? Roswell Symphony Orchestra is really like New Mexico's symphony orchestra.
You are so right.
And of course, you guys have been doing many great shows for years and years and years. But it is really a beautiful thing that's a makeup of musicians from all over Southwest. And they collaborate a couple times a year to come and do these great performances through the symphony orchestra.
Yes, they do.
And but we got a special show for everyone this Saturday night. And if you're a Beethoven fan, pianist, and if you're familiar with William Kinderman, then Saturday night's going to be your Super Bowl. But if you're, I think this is a great opportunity for folks to kind of learn and be entertained by classical music.
And it is like a Super Bowl. That's a very
good analogy.
Good analogy.
Yeah.
Yes. This is our last subscription concert.
Okay, so this is the grand finale of the season.
Right, exactly, right.
Season.
So this is your last chance for this year. Well, this season.
Yes, sir.
We will be back hard in the.
We will be back
in the fall here, but so this is your last opportunity to. So I'm guessing if you're a season ticket holder, this is your last chance to take advantage of your season tickets here,
and very soon season tickets will be on sale for the upcoming
for the
season.
new season too.
Right.
So get in early because this is the thing you know. Yes, you definitely want to check out Saturday, but if you get an opportunity to get the season tickets, be first in line for that because there's you're not going to get this level of quality musicians and entertainment in a place like this anywhere else like that. I mean,
absolutely true.
Like to see the level of entertainment you're seeing, you have to go to places like New York City.
Yeah. I've lived in Roswell for 5 years and been on the board for about 2 years, and I am barely now unpacking why this exists in Roswell. Why is an organization?
How did it end here?
Why is an orchestra of this quality, of this caliber? Yeah. And the maestro and I were just talking about it. He's surprised how good it is, and so I started trying to unpack this. Is it because of Pearson Auditorium? Well, that's a great concert hall. It helps, but that's not the only reason. Is it because of exorbitant grants and subsidies? No, that's not the reason. It turns out that it's the largesse of the people of Roswell, the support of donors, some big, some small.
We just have a great community.
We have
of
a great
supporters.
community. That's why this orchestra was formed about 66 years ago. That's why it existed yesterday.
Because it is kind of like of all places.
Of all places.
You know.
Yeah, it's very special. Very special.
But that's the common thread of the Roswell Symphony yesterday, today, and tomorrow. It's the support of the folks.
We want to keep supporting it for the next 100 years or whatever.
There you go.
As long as it's around here. And it starts by coming out Saturday night. Come see William Kinderman. And like I said, he's like Beethoven to me is the Joe Montana of classical music, or whatever you want to say it. Like if you ask people classical music, they're going to throw out something like Beethoven as the first thing. And so William, he's a scholar at Beethoven. This guy, he's a master pianist, but he also knows quite a bit about Beethoven as well too. And so he's going to be featured Saturday night at the concert.
Well, I consider Kinderman the world expert on Beethoven.
Yeah,
and that's saying something.
Not many people know more about this man other than probably Beethoven.
he's right now. I've known him for a long time. We're doing Piano Concerto number 5 Saturday night. It's called The Emperor. It's the last of the 5, and Bill and I have done the previous 4 at one time or another. In fact, he did number 3 here a few years ago.
Okay,
and somehow in a cadenza he managed to get in the theme from Close Encounters of the Third Kind or First Kind or something like. Any rate, I don't know how he managed to do that.
That's pretty cool.
But he's a distinguished professor at UCLA.
Okay.
And his latest book on Beethoven has to do with Beethoven as a political activist, which I hadn't.
So he's
really
into deep history, not just the music, but the life and the times of him.
Many books, and in my world, in the world of symphony orchestra, or the world of music in general, either you're a scholar, a musicologist, and you write books and that sort of thing, or you're a performer. Bill is, and this is a word I don't use, unique.
He's the winner of both.
In that he does both at a very, very high level. And so I'm really looking forward to doing this.
I'm curious, what's more fun? I mean, obviously playing's probably more fun, but people that love to research, there is a certain satisfaction of digging and finding new clouds and things. I mean, there's a euphoric feel to that too. So I'd be very curious what gives them the bigger high sometimes. Is it finding out new things on Beethoven or playing?
Well, we can ask him, but to give you an idea of how highly he's regarded in the scholarly world, he was involved with the establishment of a Beethoven museum in Vienna.
Okay.
About 5 years ago.
Oh, wow.
That was a very unusual thing to be asked to do. So he's a scholar and a pianist of the first rank, and I can tell you he's a very entertaining lecturer as well. So, and he's going to have a few words to say to the audience before he plays on Saturday.
So how did the relationship with the RSO and him start? How did that, where he's come and be
Well,
a
he's
part
been
of
a friend of mine for a long time.
Gotcha. So it's just through you and just through friends and through music together and said, hey, come on down to Roswell.
Right.
We got a cool little niche of community that loves this stuff.
Right. So, and then he's actually he and his wife are going to stay for a day or two and sort of explore the area and everything again.
So this will be, now, are you going to indoctrinate him on the green chili?
Absolutely.
All right, just making sure,
Absolutely.
I don't know what they feed him over in California, but,
Not as well as New Mexico, I can tell you that.
Yeah. No, don't hit him too hard, because I don't want to get him heartburning on Saturday night for the show.
Nice bland food before the concert.
That's
Right.
We don't want to pause for a Tums break or anything. But, so kind of talk about, like, for Saturday night, what's going to be the show like? What's kind of the pace of the
last piece will be this Beethoven Emperor Concerto.
Okay.
Number 5, E flat major. Great work. Prior to that, first half, an overture by von Weber called Euryanthe. A lot of, believe it, if you've played in a school orchestra or band, you've probably played that work.
Okay.
Then we're going to do Salome's Dance from an opera by Richard Strauss called Salome, and then 2 Slavonic dances. Dvorak wrote these for piano 4 hands in the 1870s, and at that time, in the United States, there was only one orchestra. It was called the New York Philharmonic, which had been formed in 1842. People don't.
They're still kind of a big deal if you never heard of them.
Well, it's people take symphony orchestras for granted nowadays, but it wasn't until about 1900 that the cities of Boston, New York, Philadelphia, and Chicago had symphony orchestras.
And it's great to see that.
Yeah.
Now it's almost a status. Like if you want to be considered a cultured area.
Correct.
You've got to have a symphony orchestra or a philharmonic or a music scene like this.
Right. So, and then coming back to the Beethoven for a minute, I think it's important to remember from time to time that Beethoven was deaf.
Mm-hmm.
He was born with wonderful hearing, but then he lost his hearing when he was about 30. So when he wrote this concerto, he couldn't hear it. And so when we hear this, we're experiencing something that Beethoven himself never
heard. And it just so happened, and I don't know how much of this, it was literally like a social media factoid post thing that I kind of was like, that's interesting. And it was really, and it was actually a thing talking about what Beethoven used to, like, there was something with vibrations and something where he had like his, and this would be a William Kinderman question, I'm sure, but they were talking about like he had this something with his mouth and he could feel the vibrations, and that's how he wrote the music or something. I knew enough to know that was like how he knew the notes and how he could hear the notes in his version. Was something with the vibrations.
Musicians, I mean, we all hear things in our inner ears.
Mm-hmm.
And in Beethoven's case, though, it was a tragedy, of course, for a musician. Particularly, he didn't have just regular hearing; he had super hearing. When it was just incredible. But for him to lose his hearing was a tragedy. But because of that, we know a lot more because he kept a conversation book in his home.
Okay.
And so if you went to visit Beethoven and you could speak, you would have to write out what it was you wanted to ask him, and then he would write a response. So and Bill Kinderman would know all about this. So we know all sorts of things about Beethoven because he wrote
a lot of it was chronicalized because he had to journalize everything to get it communicate and things.
And there's a great story as well that a string quartet came to play the first read through of one of his new string quartets, and the first violin complained about something, about string crossings or something. And Beethoven said, he wrote down, "I don't care about your miserable fiddle. This is what I want, and you figure out how to do it." So, I mean, we would not know any of this if it weren't for what are called the conversation books.
It is so, and this is the part I love. I mean, the music is beautiful, but this is probably why I'm radio. I've always been that guy. What's the story of the person that got it there to do the thing, And it's like there's so many things that I really am not interested in. like per se the thing. Like I will give you an example. Wrestling. As a kid, I watched the wrestling, but I have no interest in watching it now. But if you want to tell me the innards of how it went down and this and that, I'll watch that all day.
Okay.
I'm one of those people that I love behind the scenes of things. So for me, I to hear Beethoven. But to me, I'm almost more interested in how did he do what he did do despite what he, you know what I mean? That to me is what makes it. I mean, take all of that out, he's still arguably one of the greatest musicians of all time.
Right.
But then you're like, oh, by the way, he's deaf. He dealt with this, and he's still putting on music that's relevant hundreds of years later.
Right, right.
I agree.
That to me, that's the fascinating part. It's like, how did someone get that?
Well, we'll have to get you one of Mr. Kinderman's books. Okay,
yeah,
so
that is amazing.
He knows all about that.
And but we would love to have folks come out now. If you're a student, put your pocketbook back in your wallet or whatever there is. Students can get in and come and participate.
Yes, student admission is free to include cadets at the Institute.
Yes.
Come in uniform, represent.
Absolutely.
That concert is this Saturday at 7:30 p.m. Pearson Auditorium. I think we should all, we're here to talk about the Saturday concert primarily, but I think it's worth mentioning that tomorrow, Friday, at 1 p.m., there's a young person's concert. We do those twice, for the public
younger
schools.
Students and things. Yeah,
Fifth
public
grade.
schools,
Fifth grade, yeah.
For this spring young person's concert, it's going to be fifth grade, like John just said.
Yeah.
Students are bussed in. However, if you're a private school student, a homeschool student, there's some space for you too in that balcony section.
We'll get you in. We'll get you in. Good news is that place holds quite a few people.
About 1,200.
Yeah, we can get you, and it's a beautiful venue to see.
It's completely different music, by the way, for the
kids.
We're doing something from Harry Potter, for example.
Stuff that probably more in the pop culture world that you recognize.
More William Tell Overture, that kind of
historical classical pieces that have made their way to pop culture. Basically.
Right.
It's great. I mean, I hadn't been until the one you did this fall, John, and he actually does a demonstration of each instrument before the pieces that he's going to play. This is what the tuba sounds like.
Yeah.
He'll bring all the brass out.
Well, and this is like, for me, like for my kid, like how, as my childhood, when I think of this stuff, you know what, I don't know if they do this anymore, but Peter and the Wolf. Do you remember?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, sure.
To me, that was the...
Tchaikovsky, right?
That's what taught me as a child, like the orchestra, and like, because each instrument was a different character, and so they told a story with the instrument. Right. So you hear the oboe, and you know it means this guy or whatever, you know.
Right.
And so to me, that's a great way to teach kids music, and I didn't know if they still do that kind of thing.
Well, we
do.
I know, but I mean, in schools and things like that is what I mean.
It's a genius of a piece, as you say. Each character has its own instrument.
Yeah,
you know,
and so that's why I love
that.
And to me, that I'm always thinking like that's the way to teach kids how to be into this. Is
Absolutely.
You associate it with a story, and you give it something. And I'm a 50-year-old man, and I haven't heard that thing in probably 40 years, but I could do it. You know what I mean?
Thank you for the reminder, Mike, and we'll make that happen.
But that's what I think. This tomorrow certainly is going to be that kind of thing. So bring the kids out. Like I said, we'll have a little room. So if you are homeschool, come on down. What time do they need?
1 p.m.
1 o'clock at Pearson.
Be there at 1 p.m. and then we'll get you in. Like I said, and if you've never been to any kind of event at the Pearson, first off, shame on you. How the hell do you have to pull that one off? But second, make Saturday or tomorrow, with the kids here, the students, make your first time. Come see, and you're literally seeing the Babe Ruth of Beethoven. I'm going to hit a different one each time.
We like your analogies,
literally
Mike.
feet from you, doing things right here in Roswell, New Mexico. I'm telling you, to see this level of stuff, you're paying hundreds of dollars, and you're sitting in some place like the Sydney Opera House to do it. That's what I'm telling you. You're getting it right here in your own backyard, and you're getting it. I mean, what are tickets for tickets?
The high end is $45 for the best, the pink section.
Yeah.
And as low as $30 to $35.
I'm telling you, you ain't sniffing $45 in no Symphony Opera House or any place of
Oh,
that.
no.
$45 will get you in the lobby.
And those are available at the door. You can come to the door the night of the concert, get a ticket. We would prefer, though, for you to purchase ahead, and you can do that online.
Sure makes people feel better when they have advance tickets.
At RoswellSymphony.org. RoswellSymphony.org.
And bookmark that and stay on, because here in a few short weeks here, we're going to be offering up the next season tickets and all that here. And I'm telling you, be the first to get on the jump on here as they unveil. Because I'm sure you guys are cooking up quite a lineup for next season here. And
yes, we are.
Yeah, that's not quite releasable yet, but
I'm just promising right now it's going to be good.
What I will simply say is that in the same way that like a mall and the night visitors at Christmas, in the same way that was entertaining, we have several concerts among our 4 that are going to be just as good like that, just as entertaining. You want to get your season tickets.
And you'd mentioned the homeschooling thing. You know what? If you're a homeschooler, I think you should get season tickets for your family, because, I mean, this is for anybody, but particularly if you're like, I'm wanting to educate my kid at home, every experience with the RSO is going to be an educational, fun experience for your child. They're going to be exposed to things that it's music, especially when we talk about classical music and things like that. It spawns and generates so much other, like people that are good in math and science. I'm telling you, the music comes to play in some of that. And there's some people that understand math and science better because music is involved, if that makes sense. It's the people don't, people can do complex math, but sometimes you just present formulas and things, it doesn't register. But you do it through a musical thing or present it in a way that creates that side of the brain. This is why, when they said STEAM or STEM, I'm like, STEM is awesome. We need STEAM, stream, whatever it is. You need the arts and the music and everything in there, because without that side of it, you're raising half a kid.
You're so
STEM with 2 M's.
Yeah.
An M for music.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Mike, you've probably also heard the story about Albert Einstein and his string quartet at Princeton, and he came in wrong. And one of the other musicians in the string quartet said, "Albert, can't you count?"
That's awesome.
Yeah, and but to me, and that's the beauty of it, because I love music, but my brain's not wired to just turns to like back in 4th grade, and they're teaching you the recorder.
Mm-hmm.
I could get 3 blind mice, hot cross buns, depending on the words. But anything past that song, I was probably over my head on it, and it's just, I don't know, my brain doesn't work that way.
And you're not alone, but you can still appreciate it.
Exactly.
And I think that's a lovely thing.
But it makes me in awe of people that can. Like I would give quite a bit to be able to play, say, a guitar or an instrument the way some people can play, even casually. People just have I don't have
given
that
up on guitar myself.
I don't have that ability, but I wish I did, and I'm envious of people that do. I'm not gonna lie.
No, Mike, I really appreciate you. You're helping me with my new sales pitch. Mom and Dad could get season tickets, and guess what? Those kids in that homeschool family, let's say,
exactly,
those are students. They come
exactly.
Free.
I'm telling you, make this a part of your family. This is way more than entertainment. It's part of the thing. Yes. I guarantee Saturday night and every night that you have one of these concerts, you're going to be out there like, man, I'm blown away by the quality and the level of the skills of these musicians and these artists that are coming on the stage every single time. That's the part that just because you don't know about it doesn't mean it's good. And that's what I mean. You're literally seeing the human history of music right before your eyes, right here. Every piece of music you can think of is going to equate back to things you're seeing Saturday night.
Absolutely right.
That's what I love about this. If you want to see how the thing is made, you got to know the past. You got to know where it comes from. If you want to be a musician, I know in this day and age, if you're good at computers, that you can pass as one nowadays. But if you want to be you want to be at the level of your music being remembered 200 years later, you're going to learn more than how to work a computer. That's all I'm saying.
Very
you need
rare.
to understand the concepts. You need to know the Beethovens, the Mozarts. You need to know what they did so you can take what they did and make it bigger, better, stronger, whatever it is.
That's a great point, because, who knows how many pieces of music have been written over histories. I don't know, thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
But only a few are still remembered because they have some special quality about them that appeals to generation after generation after generation. And that's what we play.
And that's timeless. And that's something, what makes Shakespeare so great?
Same thing.
It's because it's just as relevant hundreds of years later when it was written as is today. Guess what? Mozart, Beethoven, Bach, all these legendary.
They're always fresh.
Same thing. And guess what? Look at even influences of today's music. It all goes back. I guarantee you, any heavy metal song is basically electric version of a classical music song in some way, shape, or form. You know what I mean?
That's saying something.
It really is. I mean,
it is.
And
You're
to be
right.
honest, the feelings are exactly the same. Back in Mozart's time and Beethoven, they're pushing envelopes. They're just like artists and things are doing today.
And as you said earlier, Mike, the human story is always the same. They're people. They're actually people who do this.
Yeah.
And the dynamic doesn't change over the centuries.
Yeah, and that's the part. And as I get older, this is the kind of lesson that I'm kind of learning myself. As we think of people like Mozart, Bach, Van Gogh, whatever, these iconic artists or people that are just the test of time are still well known today, and because of those people, we all almost put them in a urethral, non-human-like existence where they didn't. I'm sure they didn't eat like or pour like, you know what I mean? Like they didn't live like the common person. But every one of them, all of them did. They came, and we just think they came from because we know them from their high water mark. But that's the thing that gets me in life. It's like, Beethoven probably, he was poor at one point or something. And you know what I mean? Just like
they're not marble statues.
They're human beings that
humans,
probably laughed and got and flawed people like anybody else. Things that about their personalities and lives that probably aren't so rememberable. But that's humans. We forget about those parts, but that doesn't make them any less great. And that's kind of
so
what,
true.
just a study of history in general. We look at our own history of our founding fathers and all this. No, they're not perfect men. None of them were. But every one of them put their neck on the line, and this is why we celebrate them. And they're all flawed men. Every human being is a flawed person. That's
except those. Oh,
except
the people in this room. Right,
We're getting deep this morning, Mike.
I get deep.
Wow.
But to me, this is why you should go to this stuff, because this is the roots. This is human roots. Saturday night is. You want to know why humans are humans? This is a case study in it, just as much as anything. Yes, it's entertaining and fun, but you want to understand humanity, this is the kind of stuff you got to dig into a little bit.
Well, thank you for saying
I know I get
absolutely
way deep and off the rails,
wow, this is deep stuff.
But
this is great. Thank you, Mike.
People forget the big picture sometimes. We get so wrapped up in our world, and I like this, and you like this, but we can't like this.
Now, man does not live on bread alone.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Everything is, and every hero you have has a chink in that armor too, and it's okay because that's humans. That's what we are. We're not all as great as people made us out to be, and we're not all as bad as people make us out to be. And music shows us that.
Mike Winter, the philosopher.
That's right. This is the people say I talk too much. Usually that gets translated and he talks too much. But anyway, reeling it back in, bring out your families. Come on out Saturday evening. Come on out to the Pearson Auditorium. Get your advance tickets today at RoswellSymphony.org. If you space on it or if your plans are iffy and you're not sure, we will make sure we'll get tickets at the door. But if you can plan a little bit, get them out that way. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to get in line. You can just literally roll through the doors and get seated and get ready for it.
No, we have some great staff, too. If you have questions, give us a call at our offices at 575-623-5882 or rso@dfn.com. Write Jennifer a note. Give her a call. She's our executive director. Jennifer is hitting it out of the park.
She's the one that keeps everybody honest and keeps everybody
awesome.
in line.
She is awesome.
You always need those people. Because for every one of me, you need like 10 people behind me to reel us in.
You have a staff of 10 here? I didn't know that.
Yeah, wow. I'm impressed. All these people. Wow.
We don't have them. They need them, but we don't have them. But, come out, have some fun. Maestro, let me ask you this. If there's any musicians out there listening said, I always wanted to get my foot in the door with the RSO. How does one do that?
Well, I think probably call Jennifer, call the office, and leave a message, and then eventually I'd get back to that person, and we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. Not sure how much time we have, but with this young person's, is it Young People's Concert?
Yes.
Young People's Concert.
Yes, tomorrow
at 1 o'clock. There is a handful of high school musicians that are going to shadow certain chairs in our orchestra.
Right.
Okay, so kind of under a mentorship program.
Exactly.
But opportunities like that exist for burgeoning young musicians out there. If you're in middle school right now, be thinking about that.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. This is how you cement that thing and everything. But I imagine there's a lot of people maybe come to town and maybe they're a cellist or saxophone player or whatever, percussion, whatever it is, and they're like, man, I would love to meet some of these people and hang out with them and, jam a little bit. And who knows, maybe I sit on the stage with the RSO up there with my instrument. And,
absolutely.
Yeah,
because if they get in touch with us, we'll get in touch with them.
Absolutely.
But again, this wonderful thing with high school musicians sitting side by side with professionals, that's a wonderful opportunity.
Absolutely. And this is something that, and we kind of touched on at the beginning, but every member of the RSO are rock stars in their own little worlds, if that makes sense. Like these people come from all over.
They play in
the
multiple
Southwest,
orchestras,
and they are the tops of their circles at the various. If they're teachers or some of them have other day jobs that aren't related to music, but when they hit the music, they hit it hard, and they're the best at their areas, and so that's what makes the RSO so cool. It's literally when you think of like from the 80s, some of these like mashup super groups where you get these great artists together and the Traveling Wilburys show up, or something like that. That's the RSO. It's literally that you got the best of the best at these instruments in this part of the country. And a couple times a year they come together and jam. That's really what it is.
And the rehearsal schedule is astounding. Maestro was telling me yesterday that it's a 48-hour ramp up. Orchestras in major metropolitan areas, they have 4 days.
They have
96 hours of rehearsal.
Oh, wow.
To 48. So it's
so they cut it in half.
It's like a, I don't want to say miracle, but it's a feat.
It's a crash course in orchestral music. That's for sure.
Not just you got to be a high caliber of musician to do that.
Absolutely.
To pull that off.
Right.
But I'm going to take a stab. Most of the players probably wouldn't have it any other way. You know what I mean? Like,
what are you thinking?
I mean, in theory, they want it, the time and everything, but I think sometimes the pressure is what drives people sometimes. And so I'm not saying every one of them, but there's a few players in that band that they're like, I ain't thriving until I'm 10 minutes, until I'm late. You know what I mean? It's kind of that. Some people just handle pressure better than others. Some are god awful at it. Some are. But I'm going to say
they know what to expect
that.
now. In other words, they realize that between tonight, which is when we have our first rehearsal, and Saturday night, that it's all got to come together, and they know that before they come here.
They know that not the goof off time is limited to the end. but because I'm going to take a stab that they're all probably, they look at each other as brother and sister in some way, shape, or form. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a very,
it's a very family.
Exactly, it's a family.
And so I'm going to imagine Maestro's got to reel it in every once. All right, now let's reel it in. we got a show to get ready for. Knock off the chicanery over here.
We always have regulars, but something else the Maestro told me yesterday is that in over 50 years, he's never had the same ensemble on that stage. It's always a different composition of
it's
music.
close, but there's one or two.
That's right.
Pieces
There's
different.
always one or two different.
Right.
So that's also remarkable.
That
is
so cool.
Yeah. It's never been exactly the same.
And they pull off a 10 every time, and that's the beauty. And you're going to see another 10 Saturday night here.
You bet.
So come see William Kinderman, pianist, Beethoven scholar. If you're looking for Beethoven, there's probably not anyone better in the planet.
True.
You're going to see than Mr. Kinderman here Saturday night. So,
Absolutely true.
Saturday night, 7:30 p.m., Pearson Auditorium at the New Mexico Military Institute.
Yep. Get your tickets, RoswellSymphonyOrchestra.org. Don't forget, you can follow the Roswell Symphony Orchestra on Facebook as well. Highly recommend you do that. That way you can stay up to date. And from time to time, I know you guys do little special offerings and things on there. So if one wants to take advantage of some of your giveaways or offerings you do on there from time to time, you got to be a liking to take advantage of it. So do that. But great way to stay up to date on that. And then, of course, if you and I imagine too, if you want to volunteer on the other side, maybe you have zero musical skills, but I'd love to. Hey, I can help out on event nights to as an usher
thank
or
you for saying that. We
any of
always
the other
need volunteers.
Yeah.
We always depend on Assistines and a couple of other organizations. Thank you for saying that.
And I'm going to take a stab that maybe money's tight. I get you. Love to see shows, but can't afford to go every time. Serve as an usher, might be a chance to get to see a show and save a little money too. Just saying. My dad worked for RFK Stadium back when I was a kid.
Wow.
As an usher, and he did it as he worked for the government. He had a day job. He did that literally just so he could see Redskin games for free and watch concerts. Like he saw Mike Tyson fight. He saw a Rolling Stones concert all for free working as an usher at countless Redskin games.
Good planning.
Yeah,
Good planning.
just
I
saying,
like that.
You like, being an usher sometimes is the way on doing that. So volunteering with the RSO.
No, my
might
wife
get you
did
foot
the
in the
same
door.
deal in Syracuse.
Yeah, it's not a bad gig. Guys, is there anything we missed? Anything we wanted to share that I sidetracked us
I'll
on?
say the
or
phone
anything?
number again, 575-623-5882. I'll say it again, 575-623-5882. Or give us an email. Send us an email at rso@dfn.com.
That's right. And come join us Saturday night as William Kinderman plays Beethoven, 7:30 p.m. at the Pearson Auditorium. Tickets available right now at RoswellSymphonyOrchestra.org. They will be available at the door. However, if you do have time, go on the site, get your tickets.
And lots of seats available. So
yeah, and there's not a bad seat in the Pearson Auditorium. It's a
No, there
beautiful
isn't.
facility.
Even the balcony is
Yeah, if you're up in the
fantastic.
balcony or if you're in the front row, it's all amazing. And they remodeled it in the last 10 years, so it's even nicer than it was.
It's really nice now. Yeah.
Except for the chair noise. That's the only thing they missed. But anyway, thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you, Mike.
We'll see you all next time.
Thank you so much.
All right, it is 9:53. This morning is zipping by. Let's pause for news and a quick break before they kick me off the radio. Don't go away.
Now for your Pecos Valley News Update. I'm Jared Cirillo. Roadrunner Food Bank says about 500 families participated in this past weekend's pop-up food distribution event. The event gave out free produce, frozen turkeys, and water, among other items, in the parking lot of the Bulldog Bowl. David Montez, the distribution manager, said Roadrunner has handed out more than 615,000 pounds of food to more than 11,000 families in New Mexico so far this year. The U.S. is now prosecuting migrants who enter the country through a newly created military zone along the southern border in New Mexico. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth recorded a video in the zone this past week and called it a, quote, national defense area. He said any illegal who attempts to enter that zone is entering a military base.
This may as well be a military base inside the United States of America. Newly announced, newly formed.
Court filings submitted Monday show that the Department of Justice is charging at least 28 people with, quote, violations of security regulations for entering the zone. The charge is a misdemeanor, but could result in a year in prison. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo.
Your morning cup of Sean. This is the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
If you look at it, very similar to where we were with the campaign, 92% negative coverage of Donald Trump through the first 100 days. I mean, it is, if you analyze World News Tonight, NBC Nightly News, the CBS Evening News, from January 20th through April 9th, 900 stories, 899 to be specific, discussing Donald Trump, the Trump administration, and they found 92.2% of the coverage is negative, only 7.8% positive. And it's just 100 days in the second term. The broadcast evening news landscape is even more lopsided. The morning shows, do you think Georgie Stephanopoulos is actually any better than that? I don't think so.
The conservative underground meets later today on the Sean Hannity Show.
Now, don't get suckered into the same old free phone game by Big Wireless that comes with a lot of fine print, plus. Oh, in other words, you pay more. At the end of the day, you paid for that, quote, free phone 3 times over. There is a better way. Pure Talk, my cell phone provider, a veteran-owned company, my sponsor, my wireless company, has a much better offer. A free phone with a qualifying plan for just $35 a month, and you get a brand new Samsung Galaxy A26. Just make the switch to Pure Talk for $35 a month. You get unlimited talk, unlimited text, 15 gigs of data with mobile hotspot and roaming, all on America's most dependable 5G network. Just dial pound 250, say the keyword save now, and Pure Talk's U.S. customer service team will help you make the switch in as little as 10 minutes. Again, pound 250, keyword save now. Get your free Samsung Galaxy with a qualifying plan when you switch to Pure Talk. Wireless by Americans for Americans.
Baseball action today, and the Goddard Rockets are hosting the Artesia Bulldogs in a single game. Starts at 5 o'clock. The two teams will play a doubleheader in Artesia on Friday. So whatever happens today, the district title is going to be wrapped up the next day. Today's game again starts at 5. Artesia 17-6. 6-0 in district. Goddard is 11-11, but 5-1 in district play. Also today, you've got Dexter playing at Bosque School in Albuquerque. That starts at 2 o'clock. Gateway Christian has already clinched the district championship in baseball, but they will host Elida in a doubleheader that starts this afternoon at 2. Gateway is 12-4 overall, 10-0 in district play. And softball today, Dexter playing at Ruidoso. The Demons are 21-2, 7-0 in district. Ruidoso, though, 19-4. 6-1 in district. That's a doubleheader today at 4. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell's Talk FM 106.5.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We're looking pretty good today. We do have some rain coming up, though, starting tomorrow. In the meantime, sunshine and mid to upper 80s. Overnight, a few clouds, and we're in the mid-50s. And then scattered afternoon thunderstorms popping up on Friday. Looks like low 70s on the high. We do have a chance of some showers and thunderstorms coming up on Saturday with low 70s. A few more showers and cooler Sunday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Hey, Roswell, during these unprecedented times when others are raising prices, Roswell Ford is lowering ours with employee pricing for everyone. So you pay what we pay. Only at Roswell Ford. Make no payments for 90 days. Upside down in your current vehicle and want out early? Roswell Ford can help you get out of your trade, even if you owe thousands more than it's worth, regardless of make, miles, or condition. So you can pay what we pay today with employee pricing to all customers on new Ford cars, trucks, and SUVs. And our aggressive finance team will push to approve your credit, even if it's less than perfect. Attention business owners, Roswell Ford has a great selection of commercial vehicles, and we have them for less. Plus, Roswell Ford offers mobile services, so our certified technicians will come to you and perform oil changes, tire rotations, batteries, recalls, and more. Contact us for details. For massive American-made savings and employee pricing for everyone. Get on board at Roswell Ford, 821 North Main Street in beautiful Roswell. Call 575-623-3673 or online at roswellford.com. Interest accrues from date of sale on select vehicles. Trade balance refinanced to new loan. Subject to lender approval. Offers not combined. Expires in month's end.
Your home for Coast to Coast AM in Roswell, 106.5, Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico.
And we are closing in on 10 o'clock. Thank you oh so much for allowing us to be a part of your day. Have an amazing day. We'll be back bright and early, 7 a.m. tomorrow with an all-new show. Take care, everybody.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. Today is the National Day of Prayer. Christians across the country will be joining in prayer for America and her leaders. The theme for this year's observance is Pour Out to the God of Hope and Be Filled, based on Romans 15:13. In 1988, President Reagan signed a bill designating the first Thursday in May for an annual day of prayer. The United States and Ukraine have announced a big economic deal. White House correspondent Greg Clugston with a report.
The two countries came to terms on a deal that will compensate Washington for billions in military and economic assistance to help Ukraine repel the Russian invasion. In a video message, Treasury Secretary Bessent said the agreement sends a direct message to Moscow.
That the Trump administration is committed to a peace process centered on a free, sovereign, and prosperous Ukraine over the long term.
Greg Clugston, Washington.
Oman has announced the planned negotiations between Iran and the United States this weekend over Tehran's rapidly advancing nuclear program. Those talks have been postponed. Also at townhall.com, correspondent Mark Sherman explains the background on a religious school funding case currently before the Supreme Court.
While the Supreme Court decision in the case would apply specifically only to the charter school at issue in Oklahoma, a lawyer defending the Oklahoma court's decision invalidating the school's approval said that a ruling for the school would upend the laws across the nation that pertain to charter schools. About 3.7 million school children, or about 8% of the total, attend public charter schools.
Chief Justice John Roberts appears to hold a key vote in the case. The court seems otherwise deeply divided.